going on right now. Cubs up 2-1 on the Padres in Chicago. That one in the bottom of the seventh. Still to come, Yankees hosting the Red Sox, and the Dodgers play host to the Cincinnati Reds.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Tuesday to everybody out there on a pretty nice day outside. Sunny, almost like summer again for a day.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Well, the problem is my yard is not growing as fast. It's a great day to go out and mow the lawn. When I get home, possibly, it's getting dark pretty early. But
well, you got a headlamp, though.
Yeah, that's true. You can break out the headlamp. I think I sent you guys a video of that, didn't I?
Yeah, out there in your boots and your headlamp.
With my wife filming on my phone going, what are you doing?
Laughing at you,
Yes.
mocking you.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody's having a great day out there. Coming up, we got a nice conversation with Cliff Avril, one of my all-time maybe my favorite Seahawk ever. Sorry,
Well,
Dave,
well,
you're number two.
Well, why is that, Bob?
Well, I just love Cliff.
Why?
He's a great guy. People love hearing that. I just loved his game. He was disruptive.
Yeah.
He was just disruptive. He was just a consistent performer, and he's a guy that was the ultimate example of not everything he does shows up in the stat sheet.
Right.
Right?
No, you're right. Absolutely. And he is just the nicest guy. And I'll never forget, you and I weren't doing radio together, but we used to come on. I used to come on and do the huddle and stuff like that with you. And I remember you reading a text. I remember exactly. I was getting off of 520 that somebody said that Cliff Avril was a problem child, or
In Detroit, had an attitude. Yeah.
In Detroit. And I'm like, the first thing I was thinking is, didn't everybody? They were 0-16. But then when Cliff got here, it's like, come on, man.
There's no way that was true.
There's no possible way.
No way
Just
that was true.
Nicest guy.
Yeah. So on top of being a great guy, just
Awesome
just a hell
player.
of a player, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the Seahawks 50 greatest ever. So he'll be out there Sunday for the celebration and being honored as one of the 50 greatest.
Well, and I think he had a total of like 74, 75 sacks in his career. But you're right, man. He had to have, I don't know if they wwere doing pressures back then. Yeah, he had 74 sacks, and his high was in 2016, he had 11 and a half. But yeah, I mean, he was just always forcing the quarterback out of the pocket.
Yeah, forcing them to move their feet. And we'll ask him about it, but he's a guy that people point to in that second Super Bowl going, man, if Cliff Avril doesn't get hurt, Seahawks win. Because I think, obviously, the ending of the game is what's etched in everybody's mind, but people forget that team had a double-digit lead going into the fourth quarter, and the defense coughed it up. And
maybe that was officially one of the worst days of my life.
I think you're in a large majority.
Yeah. We had a lot invested in that, and, coming off a Super Bowl win, and a lot of people might say, well, you're spoiled, but yeah, I mean, the way they got into that game with the NFC Championship game just being this miracle, it was like we're destined to win this game.
You're supposed to win.
Yeah.
It was not a great day. Not a great day. And had Cliff been there, I tend to agree. Had he not been hurt, that's a different outcome.
Totally.
Defense doesn't cough that up. But anyway, we'll talk to Cliff Avril coming up at 3 o'clock. Charlie Furbush will join us for his weekly conversation coming up at 4, and El Hombre for his weekly conversation at 5 p.m. You can text in throughout the show at 866-979-3776. Weigh in on the Seahawks, on the Mariners, weigh in on the Guardians and Tigers if you watch that game where Tarek Skubal, a guy that the Mariners have done well against, looked every bit the Cy Young out there. 7 2/3, 3 hits, 14 strikeouts, 3 walks. Oddly enough, 2 of those walks were to the number 9 hitter who was hitting like under 200 and walked him twice in that game. But, I mean, 14 Ks. This guy's going into the 8th inning and almost gives you 8 complete. Just unreal.
Well, and they end up getting the win there. But, again, the peskiness of Cleveland shows up. They didn't hit the ball out of the infield.
2 infield hits to produce a run.
For a while. Yeah. So, I mean, the question is, does that change your mind a little bit about it, about who you want to face? By the way, I was looking up the 2 games that we faced him, and, the result, we obviously beat him 3-2. That was April 2nd. 5 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs, 8 strikeouts. He gave up 1 home run. Can you guess to who?
Cal.
Nope.
Donnie Barrels.
You're on the right track. You're on the right track.
Rowdy Tellez.
One more.
Dylan Moore.
Demo. And then the other one was July 11th. So facing Scooble, 5 innings, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, gave up a home run to Julio.
Okay.
And then, but also, he hit JP. I think that was in the first inning. So he takes a base. Solano tripled off of him. So Solano and Demo did the damage.
Getting to Scooble.
Mostly.
Well, and then again, walking the 9-hitter twice. So he has trouble with those guys that you look at and go, yeah, he's got no business facing this guy.
Right.
But yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see. My mind hasn't changed. My mind is still. I feel like both will be tough. Both are scrappy teams, but the Tigers have been just in such a bad way, and Cleveland has just been on a tear. And we've seen success against Scooble, who you would not, based on the fact that he pitched today, you would not face him in Game 1 should the Tigers win this.
Yeah.
Look, you can beat both teams because I think you're 4-2 against both these teams this year. So you've handled them. They both can beat you though, right? So there's no easy out here. I don't look at the Tigers are so much easier than the Guardians or the Guardians are. No, to me it's 1 and 1A. I've got anxiety about both, but I feel just a little bit better about the Tigers. I think there's more lefties in the lineup for Cleveland, which could be problematic. Yeah. I'm splitting hairs, but I just if you're giving me the choice, even in spite of what happened today, I'm still going Detroit.
Well, and this is something we try to figure out all the time, and we'll ask the question: is this just a matchup problem? Cleveland just seems like. But I mean, if you look at their roster, and I'm just looking at their stats, and using WAR, they have Jose Ramirez is 5.8, Stephen Kwan is 3.7. Everybody else is under 2. Mm-hmm. But if you go and look at Detroit, you've got Dingler, the catcher, Gleyber Torres, Zach McKinstry, Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, all above 2.
Yeah.
As far as their WAR number. So, I mean, I don't know.
On paper, they're a better team.
Yeah, totally. But I just think it comes down to those 2 players, Stephen Kwan and Jose Ramirez, where you're just like, yeah. And, I guess we don't really fear Scooble since Demo and Donnie Barrels got a triple off of him.
Well, yeah, but those guys are gone. So now what are we supposed to do?
Can we bring him back?
Yeah.
Just to face Scooble.
Yeah, and just because you beat him twice doesn't mean you're going to do that a third time. But maybe it is a matchup thing. Maybe it's just something about the way he pitches. They see the ball better than other teams do against him. Who knows? He could very easily go out there and strike him out 15 times, or 14 times like he did today. I mean, he can easily be that guy. So there's no easy route here for the Mariners. The one to me is not significantly easier than the other. It's just a feeling at this point. Mm-hmm. John Morosi we had on yesterday, and he talked about why, in his opinion, the Tigers are the more dangerous opponent for the Mariners to face.
Right now, the Tigers are the better team on paper. They're the more complete team. The Guardians, their run is unbelievable. They are the deserving AL Central champions after a run for the ages. However, I do think that Scooble, the left-handed presence that he brings, I think Mize is a very solid too. I just think that the Tigers lineup 1 through 9 is a little bit deeper, and the Guardians, you're right. I love Stephen Kwan. I also think the best all-around player in this series between Detroit and Cleveland is Jose Ramirez. I just think that in a postseason situation, you do utilize more of the full 1 through 9, and then you get into the bullpen and the Tigers, for all their flaws, I think that with the additional days of rest, it gives A.J. Hinch some different options to potentially utilize the rest of his bullpen in different ways.
None of that is wrong.
No,
None of it is wrong.
he's right.
He's 100%. They do have a deeper 1 through 9. Talking about the bullpens, everything he said is accurate. It's just the feeling I have as a fan. Doesn't mean it's right, but if you're asking me who I'd rather, still the Tigers.
Well, and I was trying to convince myself to make it the other way around, but I can't. And again, it's just like one of those things you can't really quantify.
Yeah.
It's just about the matchup. So, yeah, that to me still hasn't changed. And then the other thing, I think JP told us that he thinks that in the American League that Jose Ramirez is number 3 as far as MVP voting, and he is just the one thing I always also remember about Ramirez is that was Matt Brash victimized him pretty badly one time with a pitch. Remember that one that he swung at and he kind of screwed himself into the earth, I think is how Goldie explained that. And I'm like, wow. I mean, if you can do that to Jose Ramirez, that's why I've had, and maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit, but for Brash to do that to someone, a hitter like that, he's incredible. Just covers the plate. So, I always think about that play, and that's one of the reasons why I think Brash is so valuable and so good in the bullpen. But yeah, Ramirez and really Stephen Kwan. That's really it.
Yeah, and there's other guys in that lineup certainly who can do damage. It just feels that way. Like I say, you've got winning records against both teams, so it's not like, hey, they've wrecked the season for you and Kwan has been just an assassin. He just feels like he's been that guy. We talked about it like Cole Calhoun, and he's a much better player than Calhoun, but just had the knack for coming up with that moment, whether it was a diving catch, improbable catch, or just a timely base hit or stolen base, just something. Altuve, Calhoun, just one of those guys you just went, ugh, enough of this guy. Mm-hmm. Enough of this guy. So, yeah, 425 says, we have Garver. He will channel his inner Demo/dummy barrels. Long-suffering M's fan still has Kenny Lofton nightmares. Keep Cleveland away.
Yeah.
So people going back 30 years there.
Yeah, they were talking about avenging the 95 team.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait. And that was a hell of a game today. I mean, obviously a pitcher's duel. Nobody's out there lighting it up and squaring the ball up by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, good on the Tigers. Game 1, Skubal looked every bit the Cy Young. Meanwhile, looking at this Mariner team, I was thinking of this last night, just going, okay, here we are. First division win in 24 years. Second time in the playoffs since 2001. So is this the beginning of a run for them? We just talked about the Astros ending their run. First time they've missed the playoffs since 2016. Are the Mariners poised for a run like that? Do we expect that this is wherever they end, whether it's World Series or they end the division, ALCS, whatever it is? All right, this is just step one, that we should expect that this is who they're going to be moving forward, and they're going to take whatever step they don't take this year, perhaps, if they don't get to the World Series. Does it feel like the beginning of something?
Yeah, I think so. Just because, you've finally found that. Well, and I'm sure that, management knew this, Jerry and Justin, that you have to invest in the offensive side of it. I mean, it's always been about pitching and defense, but so I feel like going forward that it's that I don't want to say they finally realize it, because I'm sure they were trying to do that, and but it just hasn't worked out. So I feel like this is something that is more of long term, because you've got some pretty good young players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's, I was thinking about it in terms of age. Like, all right, where might you see changes? All right, third base, JP, I think he's a free agent in 27, so maybe you see it at short. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you got Julio, you got Cal, hopefully Naylor, you've got Robles, Rosarena still there. You still got a youthful team. You assume Ben Williamson will be your third baseman moving forward, unless Gino goes on an absolute tear through the postseason and the management decides we want to bring this guy back. That's the other question. It's clear the fans want Naylor back. It's clear the team wants. We talked to Justin Hollander. They want Naylor back. We'll see if they can come to an agreement and get it done. What about Gino? Do we want Gino back?
That's a good question. I mean, he could end up being a hero here. And by the way, I was looking at MLB.com, and they were talking about who was the X factor for each team. And for the Mariners, it was Eugenio Suarez. Ended up with 49 home runs, and he's kind of streaky a little bit, but he's only hit 189 since coming over to Seattle.
Yeah.
But he's come up with some huge moments, and
does he have 11 home runs, I think,
since he got here?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
something like that. There was a stat they put on the broadcast the other day about most home runs since switching teams, and I don't know if it's a record or if it's just this year, but there was some distinction about the number of home runs that he hit since coming to Seattle. And it was a positive one, but overall, yeah, I feel that, look, I love what Gino brings to that clubhouse. I love how much they love him, the players, and I think it's necessary, and it's got tremendous value. Having said that, if we're looking in beyond this season, which feels silly because there's so much in front of him right now, you start looking going, yeah, Naylor's a no-brainer. You want him back. Right. Gino, I think most people would be happy if Ben Williamson could be just a bit more productive offensively. Defensively, he's just a better third baseman. He's got more range. It's not close, really. Gino's got a cannon. He's got a tremendous arm, but that's about the only spot he's got on Williamson as far as defense goes.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, I think Ben, what he needs to do is come back just yoked up. He needs to be one of those guys that we're talking about. Or Brock Heward, more likely, will be talking about him, that his calves and his butt are better.
Yeah, he'll dive right in there.
No, but I mean, that just get some power, and he showed that a couple of times. And he's a young kid, but man, what a great he's just great instincts. Remember that one, like, where he kind of looped around the bag and threw? I mean, he's just so natural. He can throw from any arm angle, and just the defense. He was really fun to watch, but just not quite the power.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really all he's lacking. I mean, he was making contact. He was hitting for, by today's standards, a decent average. He was hitting like 254.
253, Bob. You were way off.
Way off.
But,
damn it.
But I mean, that's surprising. Seriously, like you think about a guy that got sent down. Now, he only had one home run, and his OPS was 604. Mm-hmm. But he's hitting for average. I know you want power out of that position, and that's what we got now. But I hope he can become that guy, because he really was fun to watch. Great kid. I think he fits right in. But he showed it one time with that home run he had.
You believe there are only 7 players that hit 300 or above? 7 total in baseball. Only 1 in the National League.
Wow.
1. Trey Turner hit 304.
That's amazing.
It's unreal.
No, are you surprised there's not more Phillies on that?
Yeah, he's by far and away. I mean, only 1 National Leaguer hit 300 or better. Yeah. I mean, just where averages have just gone. Aaron Judge led the league, 331. Bo Bichette, 311. Jacob Wilson, 311. George Springer, 309. Jeremy Pena, 304. Trey Turner, 304. And Yandy Diaz, 300. That's it. That's your list of 300 hitters in all of Major League Baseball. So, just by way of comparison, a rookie and Ben Williamson coming up hitting for the average he did, pretty darn solid. He's got to do some damage. He's got to find a way to be a little bit more productive offensively, but defensively, he's there. We all saw that. So, yeah, we'll see what goes on with that. But you guys can weigh in on that. 866-979-3776. I think we're all clear. You want Josh Naylor back. What about Gino? You want Gino back, or is it a wait and see? If you might have an answer right now that says, nah, let's move on. And he goes nuts in the postseason and is like a postseason hero. Maybe everybody's going, you have to bring him back. It could be one of those situations. So we'll see what goes on in the postseason. But if we're calling it today, I would think they would probably move on, is how I would view it.
You think? Yeah, you never know when Gino's going to go on a tear, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he does that and it continues through the playoffs, I'd say absolutely you have him back, because he's a great clubhouse guy. But if they don't, and let's say he does go cold, I feel pretty good about Ben Williamson.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, the Mariners need you at T-Mobile Park this week to help the team prepare for that ALDS, and you can be here for postseason scrimmages. How about that? Starting tomorrow, 2 p.m., and Thursday at 5 p.m. Tickets are just $10. They're on sale right now at mariners.com/scrimmage, and we'll be out there broadcasting live from the booth tomorrow, maybe Thursday. We'll see what goes on, but for sure tomorrow we'll be out there keeping an eye on scrimmage. Curious to see how many fans get out there, and I know the concessions will be open and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, interesting day to go out there, take in some baseball, watch the Mariners scrimmage, and get prepped for the playoffs. So that's pretty cool. $10. Yeah.
You think that they're gonna build teams, or are they just gonna throw guys in there? Or
I have no idea. This is kind of foreign to me. I hadn't really heard about this in baseball, and then when they talked about the Mariners doing it, they brought up that the Braves did it a couple years ago, which I hadn't heard. I didn't know they had done that. So, yeah, kind of a new thing, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, they want crowd noise out there. They want people out there just to simulate as close as they can what it may be like. Certainly, you're not going to get that volume and that attendance that you'll get this weekend, but it's part of the preparation. You guys can be a part of getting them through this first round out there. So tomorrow at 2 p.m., Thursday 5 p.m., just $10. Go to mariners.com/scrimmage. Let's take two.
Well, Ron Washington told The Athletic today that the Angels are moving on from him and that it's not health-related, performance-related. So it adds the Angels to the list of 7 teams who need new managers. That includes the Rangers, who announced last night that Bruce Bochy will not return.
Yeah, so 2 of your rivals in the division looking for new leadership out there. And we talked about, Rocco Baldelli with the Twins getting let go yesterday, which, man, they got a higher standard out there. He won the AL Central. He was the manager for 7 seasons. He won the Central 3 times in that 7-year span. And they said, all right, you're out.
Well, and didn't they just pillage his
10 players.
lineup
10 players at the trade deadline.
Right?
Shaved off $26 million in salary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I understand this year and last year were not what they expected, but man, that's a pretty short leash to win the division 3 out of the 7 years you were there, and you're out.
I'm guessing the GM and the skipper there in Minnesota were not friends.
I don't know.
Thanks a lot.
Well, big Thursday night game for the division. The Niners and the Rams on Thursday night. Brock Purdy is questionable for Thursday with that toe injury that he injured here in Week 1. Then the Dolphins confirmed today that Tyreek Hill is out for the season after he tore multiple ligaments in his knee last night.
Yeah, I guess we got to. I mean, who do you pull for in that? They're both 3-1. Well, they're all 3-1 except for the Cardinals, who are 2-2. So
who worries you more?
The Rams.
Me too.
So I think I'm going to be pulling for the Niners, which
Bob loves the Niners.
Dirty.
You heard it.
I feel dirty saying
Why do you
that.
love them? Yeah, I mean, you got KJ Wright coaching down there. That's one thing. But yeah, I mean, it's the Rams are the ones that worry me. So yeah, I think, and also it looks like, I mean, they don't have Bosa now. They lose at home to Jacksonville.
They get worked by Jacksonville.
Apparently they have to steal signs.
Bunch of cheaters.
That's right.
Yeah, so we'll see what goes on there. All right, Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Sam Darnold is playing so well right now that one expert believes other quarterbacks should be learning from him. We're going to hear about that coming up with Wyman and Bob right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take Game 1 of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss. Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For Game 1 of the division series, Saturday.
It's down, going to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Construction. You know, it was a couple years ago. We were seeking a complete outdoor living space. Molly wanted a new deck. She wanted to really make our outdoor space pop. And boy, am I glad we called PCF. Why? Because whether it's a very specific project or outdoor living, like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you completely covered. You know, Molly's an interior designer. She knows construction. She knows attention to detail. And PCF, they checked every single box along the way. And right now is the time to make the call. Up to $6,000 off your project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. And you can save an extra $1,500 when you bundle your deck with a patio cover. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or simply call today at 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, pcfgroup.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Open enrollment for Medicare is coming up. Are you ready? Herb Weisbaum, the consumer man here. Get organized early with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Order your free copy today at insurance.wa.gov.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan with Brock and Salk.
First question, what's the boldest prediction you've heard from an MLB executive or scout? Passan. The Seattle Mariners are going to win the World Series.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
It is that time of year. I cannot wait for the weather to get warm like it is now on consecutive days. That means I can break the motorcycle out, ride to work, ride all over the place, and I love it more than just about anything. But I also know that it's not a matter of if, but when you get in an accident, what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, when you're injured in a motorcycle crash, don't settle for firms that say they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who live it. Law Tigers has been a part of the writing community for nearly 25 years nationwide. They're here 24/7, 365 days a year because writers deserve real support when they need it. Law Tigers is the resource writers can turn to when they are in need. Law Tigers is out at all the events and supporting all clubs and shops. The Law Tigers are always by your side. Your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. The Law Tigers, you never ride alone. Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Where you hear Cal's quest for the MVP.
Goodbye, baseball, number 50 for Cal Raleigh.
Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot.
Toyota of Renton is in the playoff chase with game-winning deals on your next ride. Score a 36-month lease on the Tacoma at $279 a month with $39.99 due at signing. The RAV4 leasing at $299 a month with $39.99 due at signing. Drive smarter with the all-hybrid Camry leasing as low as $299 a month or the Corolla from just $219. Whether you're gearing up for the fall or chasing savings, Toyota of Renton is the place to go. Visit toyotaofrenton.com and get in the playoff chase today. Offers valid through September 30th, 2025. Excludes tax, title, license, dealer accessories, and $200 negotiable documentation fee. Model 7540-4432-2559-1852.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Got playoff baseball happening right now. Cubs and Padres in Chicago at Wrigley Field. You got the Guardians and the Tigers who finished game one. Tigers come away with a 2-1 win there. We'll see who the Mariners will be matching up against. You guys can text in 866-979-3776. Meanwhile, Seahawks getting set for a big game this weekend against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Also a celebration of the 50th year in existence and 50 greatest players in Seahawks history. So a very cool thing happening this weekend. Sam Darnold's starting to get a little national love out there. He's off to a very solid start with this team, and I think, as much as you and I, Dave, talked about him long before he was ever a Seahawk, and certainly since he's been a Seahawk, I think we're in the majority of those going, yeah, I don't know what kind of player he's going to be. I think people were across the board genuinely curious. Is he the last year version or the 6 years before? Or who is he? Is he the last two games last year? Because it has been so extreme one way or the other with him. And so far, we've gotten the good version.
Yeah, absolutely. And he kind of became our Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff, or who else would we talk about? Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
I think is one of those guys that's kind of on the edge. You see these flashes of brilliance. Yeah, I guess Purdy.
Is he real?
Never really know if he was for real or not. Yeah, and the same thing with those other guys. And now, all of a sudden, you have Sam Darnold just being unlocked, and a little bit with Baker Mayfield as well. He was kind of struggling a little bit, and you see him now.
Mayfield's completely turned. I think he was second in the league in passing last year.
Yeah, I mean it's very interesting because it used to be that okay, you're done, and now all of a sudden there's these reclamation projects happening everywhere. So I still can't. Who's the kid that the Niners traded up to get
Trey Lance?
Trey Lance. That one may be the most mystifying of all time.
Yeah,
and it doesn't seem like he's anywhere near a comeback. So
no,
he might be one of those guys that he was done. So, and I hate to bring it up because he's such a nice guy, but kind of like Dan McGuire.
Baker, by the way, third in passing last year, completed 71.4% of his passes, 4,500 yards. Above him, Jared Goff at number 2.
How about that?
72.4%, 4,629 yards, and then Joe Burrow led the league with almost 5,000 yards.
Yeah.
So, two of the guys you look at as reclamation projects, even though Goff had more success, he went to a Super Bowl with the Rams. He wasn't looked at as this big bust. Maybe he wasn't as good as you thought he could be, but he had some success as compared to Mayfield and some of these other guys. So, it's the Darnold story is a good one, and it's interesting right now. Daniel Jeremiah on with Brock and Salk. He was explaining how good Sam Darnold is playing right now and why it can be a teaching tool for young quarterbacks.
I think he's really, really good to the point where in watching Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is getting better and playing better, but I had this thought when I was going through the Seahawks tape of, man, I know, and it's not just the SC connection, but if I was Ben Johnson, I would sit Caleb down and show him how Sam's playing the position and show him how quiet Sam is from the waist down, like how there's a calmness and a quietness to how he's playing that's not frenetic at all. For someone like Caleb Williams, he shows you flashes where he can kind of slow it down. And when he does, he plays at a really high level. I'm using Sam as an example for a young quarterback of where you'd like to get to. And I don't know if people would have believed that if I would have told you that, 3 or 4 years ago with where Sam's career is.
That's pretty exciting, I think, for Seahawk fans to hear that. I mean, I think Daniel Jeremiah does a great job, and he was in front offices. And it's funny now that he mentions it, I think back on some of the plays where he's right about it. And I think what he means by his lower half is quiet. It's like he's not dancing around. He's not tippy-toeing or doing anything. His feet don't look –
He doesn't look nervous.
He doesn't look nervous. He looks very self-assured. And the other thing I love is he's taking a few in the chops, and then he'll the next play just get right back up and no problem. He's not seeing ghosts or anything like that. I mean, it is.
How much does he regret that comment, by the way?
Well, yeah. I mean, was he mic'd up or did a mic catch that?
I can't recall.
If he's mic'd up, you got to go, hey, just don't say anything.
But just the fact that it's out there and he's got that comes up in the broadcast. I heard it brought up in the broadcast. And one thing that was brought up that I didn't know, which was interesting, and he apparently gives a lot of credit, Darnold does, for his turnaround to Brock Purdy. Apparently in their time in San Francisco, like something about the way he approaches the game, and he talked to him about his approach or something. I can't remember specifically what it was, but the fact that he's acknowledging a younger player, the last pick in the draft, is a guy that was instrumental in helping turn things around for him, was pretty interesting.
That is cool. Well, and he sat there and watched him take the coaching from Kubiak, and that was the main, force that brought him here to sign here. But Brady Henderson had, and Stacy just told me this stat, and so I can't find it, but he said that he had a stat, Brady Henderson, who is the beat writer for ESPN, that the Seahawks have had something like 30 running plays that were either like 0 or negative yards or something like that. And so that's just another thing, another reason to really appreciate Sam Darnold. They've not really got the running game going yet.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think Stacy said, they have a bunch of explosive plays, but Brady has some stat on that. I'll find it. But it's kind of interesting. That just kind of adds to some of the pressure that's on Sam Darnold, and he's handling it so well. And to me, that's what I worry about the most. I mean, I think every quarterback that gets drafted in the first round has plenty of talent athletically.
Right.
But, it's what's going on between the ears. And so for him, I think that's been the part I've been most impressed with, is how he has handled things really well. He's very emotionally and, sort of psychologically strong. Love that.
Another one from Daniel Jeremiah talking about why the postseason criticism for Darnold after the Rams game, in his opinion, was unfair.
Yeah, and that's why I kept telling people that, the end of the year is who he was, and I'm like, guys, I'll give you one game. I'll give you the Detroit game. He didn't play good in that game. Okay, that's one game. The Rams game, I think he got sacked 9 times in that game. There's nobody that's doing anything. I don't care what. Look at Patrick Mahomes in those Super Bowls when he's got heated up like that. That's not a quarterback problem. That's a much bigger problem. And I think it was just convenient for people who didn't, who wanted to be, we were right that Sam Darnold could never play. And even though I've got these, 15 examples of how great he played last year, I'm going to latch on to 2 of them, one of which, Tom Brady wouldn't have done anything against the Rams that day.
To be fair, it came in the most consequential games of the season, right? I mean, let's not pretend, we're just latching onto this random game where he didn't have a good day. That was part of the problem, is it happened, and it's what ended your season, right? It's win or go home.
Right.
And he got sacked 9 times in that game, and I give the Rams all the respect in the world, and that was a formidable front that he was facing, but, we had that play-by-play clip where they're like, he's holding on to the ball. He won't throw it. It was just a classic. Are we able to find that, Lefko?
Right, 2 receivers left. Rams blitz. Darnold gets away from it. Steps up in the pocket. He's holding it too long. Just run. Throw it, man. Just run. Right.
Throw it, man. And not to cap on Sam, I just love that call. I just love the pure frustration coming out in the voice. He's holding it. Just throw it, man. He just, so.
Well, I mean, I think it's a great thing to look at. Like, you went from that to getting signed by the Seahawks, and now. And by the way, the stat that Brady had, Seattle has an NFL high 33 runs that gained 1 or fewer yards. So I mean, I think the run game's going to get going. I'm not skeptical about it. I like both backs. I said the other day, I think Charbonnet might be the better back in this offense, but we'll see. I hope it's a close competition, but that's not helping him.
No, it's not
helping Sam Darnold.
And I'm wondering, and I know we're up against the clock here, but just looking back on Geno not accepting the offer from the Seahawks. Seahawks wanted him back. This was not part of the plan. Let's go get Sam Darnold. This was plan B. Plan A was re-sign Geno.
Right.
They made him an offer. He didn't counter. He said, I'd like to move on, please. Trade me. Then they go to Sam Darnold, and then came some questions like, oh, wow, okay, what's going to happen? Is he going to be any good? You think this is a moment we're going to look back on a year, 2, 3, 4 from now and go, how happy are you that Geno didn't accept that offer?
I can't imagine us with Geno right now. I mean, that would have been – I mean, look, I'm not saying he would have played the same way because he's got 7 picks now. He's been sacked 12 times, which is 4th, and so that might be part of it, but maybe he's holding on to the ball too long. So I don't know. You know, he leads the league in interceptions, and I don't know. Everybody talks about – I think everybody talked about Geno not as a jerk, but as a guy that was very, very intense and very competitive. And so, I mean, it kind of kept everybody sort of he kept everybody at arm's length. And now you got this guy, Sam Darnold, that everybody is talking about, just the greatest kid. Even people within the organization that are very skeptical of other human beings love him.
All right, coming up, the difference between a poorly run NFL team and a good one were on full display last night. We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take Game 1 of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss. Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For Game 1 of the division series, Saturday.
It's down, going to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Hey, man. Gaining weight? Low energy? Lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Washington helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations.
When men start treatment, it's not just their labs that change. You see it in their posture, their energy, and how they walk into the room. That's why I do what I do.
Call 206-529-1111 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 206-529-1111. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, And it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Bonneville, Seattle, and Seattle Sports are looking for organizations that regularly distribute information about employment opportunities to job applicants or have job applicants to refer. If your organization would like to receive notifications of job vacancies, please notify Human Resources at 1820 Eastlake Avenue East, Seattle, Washington 98102, or email us at seattlealljobs@bonneville.com, or call 206-726-6902. Bonneville is an equal opportunity employer.
Home of your American League West Division champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. 206 said, in response to, I was asking you and the listeners, does this feel like this season is the beginning of a potential run for the Mariners, that we're going to see this team take maybe the next step? If they come up short this year, maybe they just get that much better next year and they're going to be in the playoffs for a stretch of time, perhaps? And you said yes, and the 206 said, Dave, you're so naive. I'm 52 and a Seattle lifer. This is not the beginning of a run. I'm sorry.
Well, I've got him by almost a decade.
Yeah.
So, also, I would say this. I've been called worse on the text toy. So, naive.
Dave, you're so naive.
Well, I mean, looking forward, why not? I mean, you got Cal and Julio. I mean, those are two really good pieces. I mean, we
young arms outside of Castillo.
All we talk about is Jose Ramirez and Steven Kwan.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying they only have two guys, but you know that you've got two superstars there. We have that. I have a lot of faith in Robles going forward. This pitching rotation is going to have to. They're going to have to get paid at some point, but at least you have that problem.
Yeah.
I mean, so what indicates that you are not in it for the long haul? What's the indication there? 206.
I guess just the years of futility with not getting anything done. They feel like, this is one and done, and they'll be back to not winning or not going to the postseason.
I think that people, they would much rather, the reason why they're negative is because you look like a sucker, right? If you are like, oh yeah, I'm on board with the team and everything, and I'm everything's on the bright side. Yeah, I mean, you look like a sucker if it doesn't happen, and nobody wants to look like that.
Like how do you not know that they were going to stink, Dave? Everybody knew that.
It's much more intelligent and intellectual to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's right.
So
that's right.
That's what you're doing there. That's what you're doing there, 51-year-old, 52-year-old, or whatever you are.
Meanwhile, we were talking during the break about that was dreadful football last night. Doubleheader, Monday Night Football.
Not good.
Neither game was compelling. It was just the Jets fall to 0-4. It was 2 0-3 teams. The Jets and the Dolphins playing each other.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins win. Okay, you beat the Jets, who are now 0-4, and every year feel like it doesn't matter who they have on the roster. I mean, they've got talent on the roster.
Right.
Every year they've got talent, whether it's the quarterback or wide receivers or defensive. They've got talent, and they've had good head coaches. It's like they're cursed. Like you're just destined to stink if you're wearing a Jets uniform.
Well, and the parity should be kicking in, right? Because they're picking at the top of the draft.
They're going to be competing with Left Coast Titans for the number 1 overall pick.
Man.
I'm trying to remember if they play each other. I don't want to look. It would require too much effort.
Here, I'll look right now. Let's see.
Mike won't even look up. Fight down. He won't even look up his favorite.
Let's see. They got Dallas coming up. Dallas, Denver, Carolina, Cincinnati, No, they're not playing each other.
Well, two winless teams.
That's an act of mercy to the football fan out there, not having to watch that.
Well, I know it's early and everything, but like we were talking to Mark yesterday about Carolina. He thinks they absolutely suck.
Is it when you see a team that is pretty much a perennial loser, like just every year to varying degrees, but they can't get right? Is that ownership? I mean, because they're bringing in the coaches. It feels like they're bringing in players, but just together it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm trying to figure out why do they stink so consistently.
I'm trying to remember is Dan Morgan still the GM in Carolina? I
don't know,
but I that's one glaring, where the owner kind of seems to be taking over.
Yeah,
and there was some rumors about him taking over the draft, and he had too much say in it. Remember, for a while, Houston had that going on. They've kind of turned everything around down there, but the Jets. It's a sad story right now.
I mean, you look at some of the young talent they've got in Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, and they've over the years they've always had whether it's Quinnen Williams or anything.
Williams.
Yeah, they've had these guys. You look at it and go, that guy's a hell of a player, man.
Yeah,
and maybe it's they can't make up for the shortcomings of every player, but I don't know. It's just weird. You think Saleh's a decent coach? He knows what he's doing. It doesn't work. Aaron Glenn's out there. They're 0-4. They just. I don't know. They had Aaron Rodgers out there as the quarterback. Didn't work. It's one of those franchises you look at and go, why would you want to play there? And if you're a young guy being drafted in the top of the draft, you're going, please don't pick me.
Yeah, does it make you kind of give Aaron Rodgers a little bit more of a break? Because that team...
Yeah, maybe Sam Darnold and maybe Geno Smith. I mean, these are guys that played for those teams and just absolutely wore it out there.
Well, and that was the absolute right thing to do because they were drafting high, as you said, in New York, and they had this great defense, and they were investing in getting offensive linemen in to protect Aaron Rodgers. The one thing they couldn't do, draft a quarterback. Just couldn't do it. And so they bring in Aaron Rodgers, and it still doesn't work. So, yeah, that's got to be coming from the top down.
Yeah, it's just too bad. It must stink to be a Jets fan, just to feel like every year what's going to be the calamity that happens this year. Mm-hmm. It's not, do we have a chance? It's, no, how long until it falls apart? Right. That's probably pure cynicism
Speaking
out there.
of that, Cincinnati as well.
Yeah, well, at least they've got Burrow there to feel good about. Jamar Chase, they've got talent now. They don't have Burrow there currently, and I think that's certainly impacting them. But at least you've got some hope wrapped around your franchise quarterback. Meanwhile, he's one of the 50 greatest Seahawks of all time, and maybe one of the 50 greatest people ever. You never know.
Oh, I'd say top 5, Bob.
That's right. Yeah. Cliff Avril is going to join us next here with Wyman and Bob on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. It is Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take Game 1 of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss. Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For Game 1 of the Division Series, Saturday.
It's down, going to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Lowe's knows how to get you ready for holiday hosting with up to 35% off select home decor. And get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, members get free delivery, haul away, basic installation, parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select LG major appliances. Valid through 10/1. Member offer excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Florida. Installed by independent contractors. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer lets you easily compare direct rates from different insurance companies, so you can be confident you're getting the right one, even if it's not with Progressive. Way more confident than you were when you tried online gaming. Who knew 12-year-old boys could be so mean? And where did they learn to swear like that? 2 hours of losing to these underage trash talkers, and you're starting to question if maybe you really should stick to pickleball and other boomer stuff. So use Progressive's Auto Quote Explorer and be confident you're getting insurance that's right for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hear that? Sounds like simple. Valvoline Instant Oil Change simple. No appointments. About 15 minutes to change your oil. Then out the door and back to life.
Yeah, honey, on my way.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Expert service doesn't need to be overcomplicated.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Caffeine doesn't have to be bitter or boring anymore. 5-Hour Energy shots are bringing the flavor and energy. One of my personal favorites, strawberry banana. It's giving smoothie vibes in a compact caffeinated shot. Whether you like your energy sour, fruity, or tropical, with 17 flavors, there's something for everyone. And yeah, it's got as much caffeine as a 12-ounce cup of coffee, but with 0 sugar and no crash. Big flavor, tiny bottle, tasty caffeine done right. You can grab yours in-store or hit up 5hourenergy.com or order on Amazon today.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now, so you don't miss an episode.
2026 Mariners season ticket memberships are on sale now, and the benefits start right away. Members get priority presale access to ALCS and World Series games at T-Mobile Park. So come on board today with one of 2 great options. Reserved memberships let you lock in the best locations in the ballpark so you can make your favorite spot home all summer long, whether you want to catch 20 games or the whole season.
Oh, he makes the catch! What a snag by Julio Rodriguez!
Or go with a Flex membership, which gives you the freedom to choose your seats, games, and number of tickets as you go. Terrace Club, bleachers, right behind the dugout, divvy it up however you want. This season's been a whole lot of fun, and you won't want to miss out in 2026. Become a member today at mariners.com/26.
The Mariners, their third consecutive shutout win.
Mariners baseball. Seize the moment.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Playoffs are underway in Major League Baseball. 2 games in the books now. One featuring 2 teams playing for the right to face off against the Seattle Mariners. That would be the Tigers and the Guardians getting together in Cleveland. This one, the Tigers come out on top. 2-1 the final in that one. Tarek Skubal with a gem, going 7 2/3, 14 strikeouts, allowing just 1 run. So Tigers take game 1 in that series. Meanwhile, the Cubs beat the Padres at Wrigley 3-1. The final in that one. And Red Sox Yankees in New York just about to get underway. And then later tonight, it'll be the Dodgers playing host to the Cincinnati Reds in game 1 of that series.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, Dave, big game for the Seahawks coming up this weekend against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but even bigger than that is the celebration of the 50 greatest players to ever put on a Seahawks uniform, and we've had a chance to speak to a number of them, but I think we all know who my favorite is, and he's with us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He's one of the great human beings of all time, let alone one of the great Seahawks of all time. He's got a really cool thing going on that we're going to talk about as well. You know him, you love him. He is the one, the only Cliff Avril here with us once again. Cliff, how are you, man?
Man, I cannot complain. I cannot complain at all. How are you guys doing? That's the real question.
We're doing great.
That's not the real question. We're fine, man. We're fine. Especially when we got you on the radio, man. You're a hard guy to get a hold of, but you're busy these days.
A little busy, doing a lot of different things. But, I always try to find time to get on the line with you guys.
Well, we're going to talk about the Cliff Avril Family Foundation, the Dining to Make a Difference event coming up. But I want to talk to you about being named one of the 50 greatest to ever put on a Seahawks uniform. Now, that's... I mean, first of all, I would imagine a massive honor, but I'm just curious, your years in Detroit, could you ever have pictured being somewhere where you are revered the way you are now out here in Seattle, where you're looked upon as a legend and you're part of this community and everybody just really is just such a huge fan of yours?
To answer your question, no, would have never thought that. My wife, actually, funny story, my wife, we're planning for this day or whatnot. And, I'm like, hey, my brother wants to come up, and I'm telling her about all these different people coming up. She's kind of looking at me like, I'm not saying it's not a big deal or anything, but, why are so many people coming up? And I looked at her, I'm like, this is like the Hall of Fame for me. I don't know, I'm not going to make it to the Hall of Fame. This is the Hall of Fame for me. So, yes, I want my friends and family there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a big deal, man. I talked to Mike B about it as well, and I'm just telling him, like, hey, man, like, you got to understand, the NFL's been around for 100-some-odd years. The Seahawks have been around for 50-something years. And, bro, there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of players that come in and out of this, and we were selected as a top 50. Like, that's a huge freaking deal, man. And, and he was like, man, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, there will never be another top 50. Like, there'll be a top 100 maybe, you know what I mean? But, like, the first 50 years. So, for me, it's an honor. It's an honor to have been a part of something so special, to create so many memories for so many people. But then again, just being considered a top 50 player for an NFL team, man, it's truly an honor, and I'm grateful that it's for the city of Seattle.
No, man, it is amazing. And who are you looking forward to seeing? Is there anybody? Because there's a bunch of guys, and I got to broadcast the game, but like Rufus Porter, I haven't seen Roof in like since he left, actually, back in like the 90s. And is there anybody like that for you that you look on that list and go, oh man, I can't wait to see this guy?
I mean, all the greats, right? Of course, I bump into Walter all the time, but, like, he's a Hall of Famer, right? So seeing Walt, I would have loved to have seen, I think, Jacob Green and some of these other D linemen that put on the jersey before me. I'm just a big fan of the guys that came before me that kind of paved the way to be able to, again, be proud to be a Seahawk. So some of these different guys, but I would say, I'm a big fan of Jacob Green. So I'd say him, Zorn, some of those different guys. It's just good to be around these guys. And every time I see them, I'm like, hey, congrats. They're like, congrats on what? Top 50 just to see. I'm a top 50 guy just like you. You know what I mean? And I don't know if they know the full list, but I do. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to me. So I'm just looking forward to getting around all the guys.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. The amazing part of the story, Cliff, is it's not like you were in Detroit for a season or two. You were there for 5 seasons, and unfortunately, you were part of a winless season, which I can't imagine as somebody playing at the highest level of their sport and being as competitive as you guys are, how tough that was. It must have felt like, man, is it ever going to get better? And that now you fast forward, you move to a completely different city, and you're revered. I mean, was there ever a point in Detroit where you lost hope? Like, am I ever gonna win? Is this ever am I gonna find success in the NFL in terms of winning?
No, you know what's interesting in my mindset, I think ignorance plays a little bit of a role in this too, but my mindset was just more of, I always just kept saying, hey, just don't be the reason why. Like, that was always my thing. Like, don't be the reason why we're not winning. Be that little spark of light, of hope of, especially knowing that there was going to be a new head coach coming too, right? Like, understanding that, hey, your resume speaks for itself. So that played a big role. But then I never lost hope because, honestly, like, it's not like I've ever won championships until I got here anyways, but it was more of a pride thing of, again, taking pride in just putting on an NFL jersey every single week. I'm from a small town right outside of Jacksonville, Florida, so putting a jersey on, an NFL jersey on every week, like, I'm excited about that. I don't care how bad we are as a team. Don't be the reason why, and go appreciate this opportunity that you have in front of you and put your best foot forward every single week. And that's kind of, how I operate then and kind of honestly how I operate now.
Hey, Cliff, so when you and Mike B came in together, when they signed you here, I remember, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but it seemed like maybe your relationship got off a little rocky, you and Michael Bennett. I know you guys are just as tight as can be, but I remember one time seeing him saying something to you on the sidelines, and you started laughing, and I was like, okay, they're good. But like early on, was there a little bit of rockiness? Just getting to know what he is all about. 'Cause that dude he's hilarious. He just makes me laugh every time he opens his mouth.
Pure comedy. Yeah, when we first got together, there was a game playing against the Atlanta Falcons actually, and we're kind of we're competitors, but I very much different though. Like, we're yin and yang. Like, he's the very boisterous, going to tell you how he feels, and you might like it, you might not like it, you don't know what he's going to say, and I'm the guy that kind of keeps to himself. And we're both new to the team, and we come up to the sidelines, and he says something to me, something crazy like, hey, man, you need to rush like this. And he's telling me what I need to do. And I looked at him, and mind you, now we're up by like 25 points or something crazy like that during the game. And I'm looking at him like, bro, I have way more sex than you. Like, stop talking to me. Now I'm spazzing out. You know what I mean? And to the point where they have to separate us, like literally walk me down to the offensive side of the sideline or whatever. And now I'm mad. Like, I'm the type of person, if I'm mad, like, we don't have anything else to talk about the rest of the game. You know what I mean? Like, if we're playing, we're not even communicating like that. But we're still making plays now. But we're not even. So I'm kind of mad. And then at the end of the game, we both get on the bus. Mike is always the last person to get on the bus. And I sit down, I sit down in the back of the bus, and finally he decides to get on. And again, I'm mad. So I'm thinking like, okay, we might square up. Like, we might actually have to brawl right here, right now. You know what I mean? If he says the wrong thing to me. And he sits behind me. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, he's sitting behind me. He has an angle on me. Like I'm thinking, I'm still mad. I don't know who he is. Like he has an angle on me. And he taps me on my shoulder and whispers in my ear. He's like, hey, now I gotta go tell my wife she can't be friends with your wife because you and I can't get along. What kind of foolishness is that? And that was like the icebreaker. From that point on, we've been the best of friends. Like never got into a fight or anything else. But I'm glad he was that way because I would have held the grudge the entire season. Like that's just my personality. But he's the person that he broke the ice. So ever since then, yeah, that's just my guy now, man.
You'd have been stubborn the whole season.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have spoken to him the rest of the season. Like I would be okay with that. Like, but
I like that he brought the wives in though. I mean that's the clincher right there. It's like come on.
That was the clincher. He's like, nah, I gotta tell my wife she can't be friends with your wife because we can't get along. Like, come on, man.
Hey, Cliff, what's it like? I mean, obviously coming here, winning a title is huge, and then you go back the next year, and obviously we know how it ended. We don't need to cover that, but it's got to be kind of flattering for you to hear, and I'm sure you've heard it more than a million times, that if Cliff Avril doesn't get hurt, they win that game. We know the play that ended it, but people forget that the defense blew a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter, and people often forget about that and they point to you getting hurt and saying, man, if he were there, we're talking about 2 in a row. Do you ever, A, do you hear that, and B, do you think of it? Do you think, man, they're right, it would have been 2 in a row?
Yeah, I do. I've never been missed so much for a game outside of that game. Like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, if you didn't get hurt, we win the Super Bowl. And I do think about it from time to time as far as for what could have been. But again, I'm a glass half full guy, and I also understand that I did win one too. You know what I'm saying? So like, yes, 2 is better than 1 for sure, but 1 is better than none. You know what I mean? So just understanding that, that's kind of where I get peace in all of that. But yeah, I definitely think about, if I was able to stay in the game, because what ended up happening, I ended up getting hurt. They ended up doubling team Michael Bennett, and then it kind of Brady ends up having a lot more time to be able to throw the ball and all these different things. So, yeah, I definitely think about it from time to time. But, again, I try to dwell on the fact that I have a Super Bowl ring because I know a lot of guys that don't.
Well, Cliff, I remember the first time that you had a media badge on, and I remember going up to you and saying, oh, you came over to the dark side, man. But tell us about that transition and how you and also when you were done, like it was pretty easy decision, right? Because you had like a neck thing or something, I think, going on. Yeah. So, but as far as media, did you ever think that you would get into it, and are you loving it?
So, because I had a neck injury, I had to retire. I mean, if I was crazy enough, I probably could have kept playing, but it wasn't worth it for me. But, you talk about the media. No, I never thought I would have been doing anything in the media space. I never thought I would have wanted to do anything in the media space because honestly, even when I was with Seattle, like I was never like the media darling per se, right? Like we had enough guys that wanted a mic in front of them that would talk and give you all the sound bites you want, from Richard Sherman to Michael Bennett to whoever else. So I never looked into it like that. But when I retired, I thought it was a great opportunity to, one, get better at being able to speak in public, getting better at being able to kind of paint my thoughts with words and different things like that. So getting a radio show and all those different things was really cool, and it honestly still benefits me today. I'm not doing as much media now, but when I first retired, it definitely wasn't a thing that I expected to be a part of. And I tell you what, the hard part was honestly balancing the act between all these guys are still my friends that are on the team, also being able to tell you how I feel, and also being able to still walk into that locker room and make sure those guys don't look at me crazy for saying something crazy about them. Yeah. So, it was such a balancing act of understanding that, hey, criticize the play and not the player. Once I learned that, it became easy. But that initial shock of learning those two things was really hard for me.
Hey, as far as this top 50 goes, how cool is it to know that the guys you played with are a big part of? I mean, Earl and Cam and Sherm and Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright. I mean, it feels like almost, and Michael Bennett, obviously, but it feels like that entire defense is part of the 50 greatest ever do it. When you guys were playing and you were in the middle of it, Did you realize, man, we've got something special here? This is different. There's good defense, and then there's generational defense. Were you aware of that, or does that take you being removed from the game to really reflect on it that way?
In the moment, no. When we all sit down and kind of have, all of us will get together from time to time and go have dinner or lunch or something like that. And the question, I'm probably the person that's going to ask it the most is like, hey, like when we were in our heyday, did y'all realize how good we were? And some of the guys would be like, we pay attention to the numbers, but not really. And then now looking back at it, like, man, we were really freaking good. Like we were awesome, on the football field. So in the moment, no, we're just out there playing for one another, having a great time. And it's not till after the fact we're able to dissect and see why we were so good, but more so than anything, realizing how good we really were when we look back at, how these other defenses and seeing how they played and different things like that. But in the moment, no, we had no clue. We were just a bunch of guys, young guys playing for one another, having a great time and trying to, demolish the people in front of us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were the scoring champs 4 years in a row. Nobody's done that.
Unreal.
Not the 85 Bears and everything, but you had some good relationship. We talked about Michael Bennett, but I remember you said something about game night at KJ Wright's. Tell us about that. You were part of that, and that was just just kind of exemplifies the kind of relationship you guys all had. You were all super tight. But tell us about what kind of games are we playing at KJ Wright's house?
It's funny, but you're correct though, right? Like the relationship we had was much more than just football. It was kids' birthday parties. It was maybe even taking a trip to Vegas. It was game nights and it's something as simple as playing Jenga. It's something as simple as playing Uno. Like we're not gambling or anything like that. It's really game night with the family, just hanging out, just having some fun, decompressing a little bit. And we're literally just doing it just to, again, decompress. But it also was building that camaraderie. It was also building that relationship with one another. KJ, honestly, most times than not, he was behind me, on my side of the defense. So, just building that trust with one another, it organically happened. It wasn't something like, we need to do this so this can happen. It was we were doing this, and it just was a byproduct of doing that made us so good on the football field. And this was with KJ. Then I might go hang like every Saturday night. The entire D line, we forced each other to go have dinner with one another. With whether it be with me, Bang, with Mike B, like all these things, I think truly made us great on the football field. And again, it was all organic.
Well, it was beyond special to watch it and live it and experience that whole thing. And before we get into what you're doing, we're speaking with Cliff Avril, and we're going to talk about his Dining to Make a Difference event that's coming up here in a sec. But when you look at the team now, Cliff, and you see Mike McDonald, and you see his defense, I know you're out there on the post game you're analyzing what you're seeing, so you got a good grip on it. How different is this defense from what you guys were doing under Pete? And when you look at it, do you feel like, man, that's a defense I could excel in, or it's confusing, or what's your take on the Seahawks as they sit today with that defense?
I like everything about the mentality of what Coach Mike McDonald's trying to implement on the defensive side of the ball. I like that he's getting a bunch of guys that can do a lot of different things, that can go out there. They're not going to take anything from anybody. They're going to go out there and hit and play hard, right? Like that's the fundamental, that's the foundation of that defense, and I love everything about it. Now, I would say the biggest difference with what he's implementing and what he's doing with his defense in comparison to what we did, our defense was very simple. Like 80% of the time, you knew what we're going to line up, where we're going to line up at. You knew what coverage we were going to play, and our whole thing was you got to deal with it. In the NFL, like when somebody lines up the same exact way, you know where the holes are. So do we. So that makes it easier for us to be able to bait you to throw it there and go make some plays, right? So that was the difference between what we do and then in comparison to what Mike McDonald's doing. He's giving you a gazillion different looks. Different guys are blitzing. Pass rushers are dropping, which would be an issue for me as a pass rusher. But, at times you got to drop for the sacrifice, you have to sacrifice yourself for the rest of the defense, which is great. right? So I would say that's the biggest difference is all the different looks that he's giving, which is confusing guys, which is very beneficial and it works for what he's trying to do. It's just completely different from kind of how we operated. But I love everything this defense is showing. Now, the biggest thing, and you said this earlier on the show, and what made us great was we were consistent for multiple years. Not just one game, not just 2 games. Consistency for multiple years is what allowed that defense to be considered so great. Now that's what they have to go create, right? Being consistent through the process. You can't have 2 games where you're dominant and then 1 game where you give up, 300 yards or whatever it may be. Not saying that's what they're doing, but that's what they got to strive to continue to try to do. And the better that defense plays, the more explosive and better I think the offense is going to be personally, right? So, again, I like what they're doing. I like the mentality. I like the identity that they're trying to create as a defense. Now they just got to go out there and replicate it week in and week out and create something special.
Well, Cliff, you got this is a big couple of days for you because we got the celebration coming up on Sunday. Tampa Bay Buccaneers again, Seahawks getting together, but the celebration of the top 50 players ever in Seahawks history. Of course, Cliff is one of them. And then the very next night is the Cliff Avril Family Foundation hosting the 12th and final Dining to Make a Difference. Now, first of all, was that intentional, 12? You were going to do 12 of them
Yes.
and that's it, or it just happened to be that way?
It happens to be that way. I mean, we've been thinking about it for some years, but I'm like, 12 just feels iconic, right, for the area. You know what I mean? And a way to go out. But then also the date also coincides with the top 50. So it was just making it a big celebration collectively for the weekend with being celebrated as a top 50, then, doing the final Dining to Make a Difference dinner. Now, it's the final Dining to Make a Difference dinner, but it's not the foundation will continue to live on. The foundation will continue to keep making an impact in the community and keep growing. It's just the fundraiser component of it. This is the final year of that.
Is this the same foundation? You were building homes in Haiti for a while. Is this the same thing?
Yes, the same exact foundation where we were building homes in Haiti. We built a school in Haiti. We do a wide range of things here in the city of Seattle. One thing in particular that I'm very grateful and proud of being able to be a part of is we have a mentoring program called the Cliffs Crew. I've had these young men since they were in 3rd and 4th grade. Now these boys are in 10th and 11th grade. And it's all about exposing them to different opportunities, different professions, showing them, they can be much more than just an athlete or just an entertainer. They can, be an engineer of some sort, a lawyer of some sort, whatever it may be. But our big thing is, you can't dream about things that you don't know exist. So we want to expose them to all these different professions so they can dream big and go be, game changers in their own communities.
Oh, that's awesome. So as far as this, this event, can fans can they get involved with this? Is it sold out? Is it available for them to attend, or at least go online and bid on auction items or donate? How can fans get involved?
All of the above are still available. You can go to cliffavrilfamilyfoundation.org to get all the information on the event, all the information on what the foundation's all about. And for us, it's all about fans and people coming out to support this organization, not just myself, but, supporting the different things that we're doing in the community. I'm big on understanding that it takes a village to make a difference. So we all have to come together to make a difference in this community of Seattle, in the world, to be honest with you. But what makes this dinner also so special, I almost forgot, what makes this dinner also so special is that some of your favorite Seahawks will be the people that are serving the food to you. So that's what's been the hype about this dinner is a lot of your Seahawk players will be there. In particular, a lot of your top 50 players will be there because they just got celebrated on Sunday. Now they want to give back to the community on Monday.
Nice. cliffavrilfamilyfoundation.org. Again, cliffavrilfamilyfoundation.org is where you can get all the info. You can be a part of this event. You can be a part of everything Cliff's got going on outside of this event and just impacting so many different areas. A really cool thing you've always done, Cliff, and this is a great thing as well. And man, we love you. I love you. It's always great to have you on the show, and appreciate you cutting out time. And we wish you the best with this event. And hopefully, there's not such a big gap between now and the next time we talk. Let's talk again soon. How about that?
Let's make it happen, man. Let's make it happen. I appreciate y'all always, bringing me on, having a good time. I appreciate everything you guys are about as well. And then also, we need to get this W this weekend. That'd be important too.
Well, thanks,
Cliff, we appreciate you, man.
Always, anytime, no problem. Thank you guys.
You heard him there. Anytime. So let's call him tomorrow.
I'm already trying to pin him down for more work.
Yeah, let's. What are you doing tomorrow? You want to hang out?
Hey, halfway through, man, I was like, I think that was my favorite interview this year.
Yeah, he's great. That story about Bennett just cracks me up.
So good.
Man, now I got to tell my wife she can't be friends with your wife. And how silly is that?
What kind of foolishness is that?
And Cliff saying, if he didn't do that, I'd have held a grudge all season. I never would have talked to him. So good. So if you guys missed any part of that conversation, highly recommend you check it out on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, there is one major difference. While the lack of success for the run game so far isn't as concerning as it was last year. We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take game one of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss. Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For game one of the division series, Saturday.
It's down, going to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures, until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive, so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday. Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
This March, Wendy's is fueling the madness with amazing deals on their hamburgers made with fresh, never frozen beef.
Like a juicy Dave's single for $1 and a fresh $2 Dave's double with in-app offer.
It's such a good deal, we wrote a little ditty about it. Get it for $1. Dave's single, order in the app. Dave's single, get it for $1. Choose wisely, choose Wendy's, official hamburger March Madness.
Limited time offer. Participating U.S. Wendy's. See offer details and redeem at Wendy's app. Account registration required. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S. and Alaska.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Your home for baseball's postseason and your American League West champion Mariners. Seattle Sports.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This hour of Wyman Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Cliff Avril, who joined us in the previous segment. If you guys missed that conversation, I would definitely recommend checking that one out. Dave's all-time favorite interview right there.
Yeah, that was really good. I'm so glad that I remembered it correctly, because I remember in the beginning they weren't exactly friends, him and Bennett.
And now they're best buddies.
By the way, his
it's like you and Paul Moyer. Did you guys have tension when you first met?
Yep. I remember him saying, "Hey, rookie, why don't you shut up?" And we were on the team playing.
Is that how he sounded?
Yeah.
Why don't you shut up? Talk to you on Thursday.
Yeah. And then I'm like, "Why don't you come back here and make me?" Something like that.
And then from that point forward, did you see you guys were looking at each other in the locker room, and you just kind of like looked at each other and smiled?
He started laughing. Yeah, it's because Kurt Warner was he was giving Kurt Warner a hard time because he didn't go out for boil out, which is you run 10 hundreds. And he's like, "You're a leader and the guys need you." And then whenever Kurt would get angry or whatever, his voice would go super high.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm sitting next to him, and Moyer's kind of letting him have it. And he looks over at me, "Why, Monster? Well, is he a coach?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't see a coach over there. I see a teammate there. I don't know why he's saying that to you." And then he got mad at me and ran out of the room screaming, obscenities. And then it was funny though, because I was like, "Yeah, I don't see a coach there. C-Dub, I'm with you on this one." And he, all of a sudden, Moyer looks at me and just starts cracking up. So, and then
you guys been buddies ever
since. He introduced me to my wife, or he set up a date so that I could meet my wife.
Look at that. So it's like you guys were the early version of Cliff and Michael Bennett. That's perfect.
The more boring version. But remember Michael Bennett? I just texted Eric Kennedy, who's the equipment guy, that his nickname is Black Santa, and he had that little Black Santa Claus. That
I don't know that I ever saw that.
It was a little doll, and
it was just on the sideline for every game.
Yeah, I asked EK. He goes, "Yeah, he even traveled." Like they put him in like the equipment box, and he would pull it out every once in a while.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Great personalities.
Meanwhile, yeah, so check out that interview. Really good stuff. Cliff talking about that relationship with Michael Bennett and just what it means to be one of the 50 greatest Seahawks of all time, reflecting on that his run with the Legion of Boom. Really, really good stuff from Cliff Avril. Meanwhile, Seahawks run game is something we were curious about in the offseason, excited about in the preseason because of the way it looked, and so far this season has been kind of hit and miss. Like week 1, not good. Week 2, really good. Week 3, not good. Right. Week 4, pretty good. So how do you feel about it? Do you have a sense of what it's ultimately going to be?
I think it's a work in progress. I think it's going to be more like the good version that we've seen, but eventually. But yeah, I mean, there's just been some problems. I don't think they have their offensive line down right now. I mean, I think there's going to be some changes there. And then, you had Charbonnet kind of banged up at one point, so he didn't really get into a flow. So, yeah, I think that there's more to come on the upside. And, even listening to a rookie like Gray Zabel saying, hey, this is an offensive lineman's dream running this offense. It really is helpful to us. Yeah, so they believe in it, and they see how good it can be. It's just, I don't know if they have the right pieces or the right chemistry right now, but I do feel optimistic. Mm-hmm. Even though Brady Henderson did have that, that stat about 33 runs so far in 4 games were, close to negative, basically 0 or negative yards. So that's not good.
No, it's not. But Brady,
where you want to go.
Speaking of Brady, he was on with Bump and Stacy, and he was breaking down why, in his opinion, there are signs that the Seahawks run game can be successful.
They've shown the ability, as you said, to be explosive. I think they have 7 plays that have gained over 15 yards in the run game. Obviously, one was the big Sam Darnold scramble the other night, but they've shown that they can pick up some nice yardage. They also have 33 rushing plays, a league-high 33 rushing plays that have either gained no yards or lost yardage. And so you just have a lot of plays that never get off the ground. And it's kind of hard to fathom how both of those things can be true, but I think it's just a matter of they're not really consistently doing it.
Yeah, so trying to find that rhythm and level of consistency. So 4 games in, all right, we'll see. Hopefully it takes a step in the right direction. We'll see if there are changes on the O-line. That could go a long way potentially, so we'll see if that goes on. But
110 yards a game, they're like ranked number 18.
So not quite middling yet,
right? So yeah, I mean, and having all of those negative yardage runs and still being middle of the pack is pretty impressive.
Well, 2 guys who have more of an optimistic view of it. First of all, Daniel Jeremiah, talking with Brock and Salk, explains why, in his opinion, the run game struggling isn't as big of a deal as long as they stay committed to it.
Yeah, I don't think that it matters as much as you still doing it enough to make them honor it. Like I doing the Chargers stuff, there was, they had just been exclusively throwing it for the most part until they finally got it going a little bit with Hampton this last week. But so at some point in time, they're not honoring these nakeds that you're running, coming out the back door with Herbert, because you just haven't run it. So you not necessarily have to hit home runs or be even efficient, but we got to at least attempt it a few times so that we can kind of be able to hold some of these edge rushers.
So that makes sense, and it kind of ties in with what Mark told us yesterday. Mark Schlereth was on with us yesterday, another interview you can catch on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. But he was breaking down, we were giving him the numbers, how many times they ran it, the yardage, all of that, and he breaks down why attempts, in his opinion, are the biggest indicator of a run game's effectiveness.
I don't spend a lot of time yards per carry average. Like, I know we all get enamored by yards per carry average. My biggest indicator of the run game is attempts. You get a lot of attempts, you control the tempo of the game. You open up your play action, and even if you're getting 2 or 3 yards a carry, I know those second-level defenders, those linebackers and everything else, when you flag that ball out there, man, they can't help but step up, because the most humiliating thing in the world, and Dave will tell you, and I played defense through college, the most humiliating thing in the world is getting a run down your throat. That's way worse than getting it thrown over your head. So there's this ancillary benefit, and we just look at the yards per carry and go, wow, we didn't run it very well. And I look at this scheme and say, for a coordinator to be able to stay in that when you're not having great success from a yards per carry average, but you understand the value of doing it, like that to me is the perspective that I always look at.
Yeah, even the Jets are running the ball fairly well. But as far as attempts go, it's 443 right now, which is about 18th, about where they are as far as the run game goes. But, yeah, the commitment to staying with it, I think. And that was something that they didn't do and I thought was the right call last year. Last year, they would just ditch the run.
Right.
And at some point, you're like, okay, we're not moving them off the line, so let's go another way. And that other way, obviously, was pass attempts. So that, you got to have that balance, and that's why they were, that's probably the single reason why they didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
We talked about in the Ram game where they had, they were fourth and short, 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 down on like the 15-yard line and just couldn't get it done.
Nope. They kept going off the left side there too. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, no, I mean, and now on that left side, you've got Charles Cross and you got Zabel. So, yeah, big, huge improvement there.
All right, coming up, the national media is suddenly excited about this Seahawks team. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take Game 1 of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss. Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For Game 1 of the division series, Saturday.
It's down, go to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton here, and honesty and integrity is really what sets Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine apart from others. I've been working with Dr. Wagner for a couple of years now, and he was really straight with me, Bob. I mean, my right knee needs replacement, and he told me that. Not all doctors will give it to you straight like that. And then after hearing me talk about it, you went and saw Dr. Wagner. What was your experience like with him?
It was very similar to yours in that I gave him all of my film on my MRIs from my hip. I had a bad hip issue going on from years of jiu-jitsu and sparring and just multiple things going on in there. And he looked at the film and said, look, this doesn't cure everything, but it will help you. It will go a long way in helping you, because I was having trouble just walking long distances or getting comfortable on a couch. There would be pain. So just small things, much less sparring and all of that. Fast forward, I get the 90-minute procedure, and surgery is no longer part of my conversation. I'm back to doing everything I was doing prior to this.
Yeah, it's amazing the testimonies that I've heard from people like you that just, the relief that they get from it. So, hey, whether it's a shoulder, hip like Bob had, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
Paying extra for tire care is BS. Bad service. So at Midas, we're rolling out our BS-free tire guarantee, included with paid installation and tax on every purchase. You'll pay nothing for flat replacements, nada for flat repairs, and zilch for tire rotations every 5,000 miles. That's $0 for all that. So with this limited lifetime tire guarantee, you'll pay a whole lot of nothing compared to what the other guys charge for tire care. That's the BS-free tire guarantee, only at Midas.
This one's for the flavor fanatics. Sour Apple 5-Hour Energy Shots don't mess around. They bring the bite. Tart, tangy, and packed with tasty caffeine, this little 2-ounce bottle punches above its weight. With 0 sugar and as much caffeine as a 12-ounce premium cup of coffee, it's the kind of pick-me-up that keeps your taste buds happy without the crash. And it doesn't stop at Sour Apple. There are 17 bold flavors waiting for you to discover. Pick one up in store or stock up online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Want more Seahawks content? Join me, G. Scott, on The Reset. New episodes of the podcast every Monday and Thursday on YouTube or on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Construction. It was a couple years ago. We were seeking a complete outdoor living space. Molly wanted a new deck. She wanted to really make our outdoor space pop. And boy, am I glad we called PCF. Why? Because whether it's a very specific project or outdoor living, like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you completely covered. You know, Molly's an interior designer. She knows construction. She knows attention to detail. And PCF, they checked every single box along the way. And right now is the time to make the call. Up to $6,000 off your project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. And you can save an extra $1,500 when you bundle your deck with a patio cover. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or simply call today at 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, PCFgroup.com.
It's G. Scott. School's back and it's rally time. Time to rally around the campaign to keep kids healthy. Kids need fruits and veggies to grow strong and stay focused, but for families on tight budgets, that's not easy. Safeway and the Washington State Department of Health have teamed up and need your help. Every dollar you donate at Safeway checkout helps families in need. And with SNAP Produce Match, they get twice as much for the dollar. Next time you're at Safeway, please donate to keep kids healthy.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here. You can book now for an unforgettable experience. Let's talk about Hawks Peak. It is the place to be for game days this football season. With over 66 TVs, indoor-outdoor concept, the deck is covered and it's heated as well. And the food, oh man, it was excellent. All with breathtaking views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. Yep, you can go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, all the preseason projections and power rankings and all those things are pretty low on the Seahawks. They weren't really high on the offensive pieces either. But last night on NFL Live, Dan Orlovsky and Ryan Clark were kind of breaking down why they love this Seattle offense.
So, it's one of my favorite offenses to watch on tape right now. I think they throw so much personnel grouping and motion and shift and motion and under center and shot. Is it fair to say that offensively, they're in a group from a defensive perspective that is throwing as much at you as anybody?
Here is what I say about Seattle offensively that makes them extremely difficult. Everything looks the same.
Yeah.
Right? From one formation, you can get run, you can get play action boot, you can get a shot. From so many different split alignments, Jackson Smith and Jigba, like you said, you can get the crosser, you get the deep post, you get the out, and you get basically what's a slot fade, right, with nobody outside of it because of the reduced split.
Correct.
They love them. They love watching the Seahawks offense. Who would have thought? I thought all of the commentary outside of Seattle early would be about the defense.
Yeah, defense and special teams.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, I think there's another side of it, like maybe they're trying to do too much, you know? But I don't know. It's a new offense. I was hoping that they were going to start fast. Now they are 3-1, so maybe we gloss over that. But I mean, you can tell it's not operating on all facets of the game. Right now. Not yet. So yeah, I do like that that they're seeing something that bodes well for the future. But yeah, I mean, look, they don't have their offensive line down yet. We're not sure who's going to be the true number one running back. And, I think it's pretty well established who's going to be the leading receiver.
Yeah.
But using the tight ends and, the fullback and everything, I think they're multiple, Bob. You like that, don't you?
I love multiple.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
The Jets are not good. We've talked about that. They fell to 0-4 in the season. But Sauce Gardner, after the game, thinks that, the refs have it out for him and their team because they aren't one of the good teams in the NFL.
Us not winning, because I watch football all the time. And I just feel like, I don't know if this is wrong to say, but I think I get called for more stuff just based off of us just not winning. I watch these winning programs, and it'd be some egregious things, and it don't get called, letting the players play. I got caught on something today where it's I know the route, everything, and I'm just supposed to let him just push off at the top of the route. I'm seeing him counter steps, all that, you're not going to catch the ball regardless. I just feel like in general, even the Mike Evans ones, I just feel like us not winning, that's just what goes on. If we don't win, and I feel like we don't get the calls that we should get, and we get called for the calls that we probably shouldn't get called for. So, obviously that's not the only reason why I want to win. I want to win because I don't like losing.
So he's accusing the officials of throwing salt in the wounds. It's bad enough that we're not winning, but because we're not winning, we're going to get called tighter, where they're going to call things on us that they wouldn't call on a winning team. I don't buy that. I'm sorry.
I'm not buying it either. They are number 10, it looks like, as far as called penalties. You know who else is in the top 10, Mike Lefko?
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah. So, you look at Jacksonville, Minnesota, New England, New Orleans. I think it feels that way.
Who's number one?
Jacksonville. According to this website, anyway. 38 penalties so far.
Yeah. Come on. I get that there's, we often talk about superstar calls for individuals. Tom Brady would get calls and Aaron Rodgers would get calls that maybe other quarterbacks would get. But the idea that they're just going to target a team and say, well, the Jets stink, so let's really let them have it. I'm sorry. I can't get with Sauce on that one.
Yeah, no, me neither. And if anybody's going to complain, it would have to be Jacksonville because they have 38 against them. And then their beneficiary, the other teams, only 19, whereas a lot of these other teams are getting 32, 33, 35.
And Jacksonville's a winning team right now. They're 3-1.
Yeah, how about that?
And they're the flagged more than anybody, so that doesn't line up with what Sauce is talking about.
We got to go to Jacksonville this year. I was kind of torn the other day. They came to San Francisco and put a whooping on them.
Sweeping the dial.
Well, you think all is good for the Eagles because they're undefeated. They're the best team in the NFL. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. But A.J. Brown has become a little disgruntled. He had a cryptic tweet on Sunday after he had just 2 catches for 7 yards. So today, Nick Sirianni had to answer a question about whether A.J. Brown still wants to be an Eagle.
Is it your understanding that A.J. still wants to be here?
Yeah. Obviously A.J. is very important to this football team. I know he wants to contribute. And, do the things that he's capable of doing. I question nothing about his desire to play great football, his desire of being a good teammate, his desire to be here.
Haven't we gone down this road with AJ before?
Mm-hmm. Yes. He's a little diva wide receiver.
I feel like he is perpetuating the stereotype of wide receivers. Right. That even when you win, they're still mad if they didn't get the touches they think they should have had. It's not about the win. It's a bottom line business.
Right.
Win the game, and you're winning. You haven't lost yet.
4-0.
And you're. I didn't see the tweet.
I found it. I don't think it's there anymore. So it's very funny. He says, "If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene. Shrug your shoulders and be on your way." I think it's some quote or I don't know, something.
He's having too much success. Did he get hurt in the Dallas game at all?
I think so.
I don't recall that.
He only had 1 target. But, he's had...
Maybe he's not getting open.
9 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets. Yeah.
Geez, that
run better
tweet,
routes.
He's a big victim in that tweet.
Yeah.
Poor me. I'm not going to make a scene. I'm showing you I'm bigger than this. I'm not going to make a scene. You won. Your team's winning. You're come on, man. Yeah, I don't. This feels like it's been a regular occurrence with him, and he's the opposite of what we used to talk about with DK. DK wouldn't complain about targets. He wouldn't. He was fiery and hot-headed, but it was never about I'm not getting the ball. With AJ, it feels like you are really blowing up that stereotype. You are perpetuating that.
Well, and remember last year, wasn't it? Jalen Hurts was being criticized because he wasn't taking enough chances.
Right.
That he was being too careful with the football.
Yeah.
Another team stat, right? I mean, come on. And, and I'm sure A.J. Brown was complaining about that as well at that time. So, yeah,
Do you miss him in Tennessee?
Can't handle success.
Yes, because they did win with him, and they had their best teams when he was there. And they gave him away for nothing. The first-round pick turned into the worst. Well, sorry, maybe third or fourth worst draft pick.
Were there any temper tantrums out there?
Yeah, no, he was just like this still. He hasn't changed. He's been like this since he's been in the NFL, but he was good and he was performing.
I heard that Charlie Furbush used to be kind of a diva a little bit. He
temper tantrums.
Wanted more,
Even when they'd win, he'd go, look,
appearances.
If you don't need me on this team, I can go play for somebody else.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of that going on.
He's ignoring me right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to him about that and everything else. What did the core of this team from 2022 learn to help this year's team in the playoffs? We're going to talk about that with our guy, Charlie Furbush, who joins us in studio for the next hour. That is coming up with Wyman and Bob right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners at Seattle Sports on 710.
Mariners looking to wrap it up. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. The Seattle Mariners are champions in the American League West.
The champagne is flowing now.
We're not done yet, but tonight we celebrate. Let's go!
Your home for baseball's postseason and your American League West champion Mariners.
Keep competing, and we'll keep going!
Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The journey just continues.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Washington gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations, and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. And the spouse says, "Thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before." That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 206-529-1111 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 206-529-1111 or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
2 years ago, my office launched a major media campaign to identify key witness to our client's bicycle accident, which we later settled for $10 million. Because when we accept a case, we don't rest until we do everything possible to improve our client's chance of recovery. We're one of only a few firms in the state with an in-house investigation team building our clients' cases. So when you hire Davis Law Group, you don't just get a dedicated and award-winning legal team. You get our commitment to better service and even better results. Request a free consultation today at 206-888-8888.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now, so you don't miss an episode.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Major League Baseball postseason is underway. 2 games in the books today. You got the Cubs taking out the Padres in Game 1 in Chicago. 3-1 the final in that one. And the Tigers and Guardians both playing for the right to face off against the Seattle Mariners in the divisional round. The Tigers get Game 1, 2-1 the final in Cleveland. Tarek Skubal with 14 strikeouts, going 7 2/3 innings in that one. Just an absolute gem from him. Meanwhile, top of the 4th in New York, Yankees out to a 1-0 lead on the Red Sox. Anthony Volpe with a home run in that one. Still to come, Dodgers host the Cincinnati Reds. Game 1 of their series coming up at 6 p.m.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
He's been with us every week throughout this baseball season, talking baseball, breaking it all down, and now we get to break down some postseason baseball with a former member of that Mariners bullpen, part of a combined no-hitter. He's been forever immortalized on the wall of the stadium in there, and now he's forever immortalized here. It's Seattle Sports 710. We're talking about Charlie Furbush. How are you, man?
He's the reason why they're in the playoffs.
That's right. That's right.
Since he's been coming on this show, it's good luck.
You've turned their fortunes.
Well, thank you for making me forever,
immortalized
here. So
that's
it's
right.
Great.
Lots of pressure on you, pal.
I love it. I live for this.
Yeah.
Come on.
He thrives.
He's coming out of the bullpen right now.
He thrives when the spotlight is the brightest. Well, let's talk about this team and just what's your level of confidence compared to 22. 22 was the last time that they were in the playoffs. That was a good team, but you look at the offense. There are 2 different offenses you're dealing with here, certainly. But just do you remember how you felt about that team and going through the playoffs that year versus how you're feeling going into this one?
Yeah, so It's a good question because I was at that game when Cal hit the walk-off, and I think that was just such a unique feeling, and it broke that big, long drought. So it just felt like, the Mariners finally had a chance because, the whole issue was like you can't do anything if you're not in the playoffs. So now this year, it feels different. It feels, I don't know, bigger, brighter, bolder.
You got
more
expectations.
Potential. More potential. Absolutely. And rightfully so. They just went out and absolutely took the West. And I still think, like, offensively speaking, you just look at this lineup, and this is a top to bottom tough lineup to face. So I know a lot of it gets put on starting pitching here in the playoffs, but I think the offense can be the one, part of the team, the unit that can carry them, to the World Series and beyond, hopefully. So, I'm excited. My confidence is very high. It's awesome that these games are going to fall on a weekend, so everyone in Seattle and everyone in Washington and the whole Pacific Northwest can tune in, because that's what's going to be a big difference maker is the crowd atmosphere at T-Mobile Park. And, we felt it here these last few weeks, and it's only going to continue. And I know, I've never been to the playoffs, but after experiencing it in 22 just as a fan and then seeing how other teams kind of operate, it's just the city's going to be on fire this weekend, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, it also kind of feels sustainable. There are some people that were texting in just being randomly negative, I think. But, as far as the way that they're built, they finally got the offense to go with. And that's the thing that, they've always said, hey, they are built pitching-wise for the playoffs. But now, all of a sudden, it's more the offense. To me, it feels sustainable. But what do you think? What would you say to someone who said, oh, this is one and done, and they went on a streak, and that's the only reason they're in there?
Yeah, I think sustainable right now just feels ahead of ourselves. Does that make sense? Like,
let's take one thing at a time.
Yeah, let's not worry about the long-term outlook. I know, obviously, the Mariners do always look at the long-term outlook, but right now, this is sustainable or not, it's just it's a different feeling. And I want to say a couple days or the day after the Mariners clinched, I saw DePoto on the pregame, and he had talked about kind of how things evolved and how they got to this point, and even this year, how the approach maybe changed at the deadline in terms of getting non-controllable players, right? I think that's the MO had generally been, all right, let's make some moves. Let's make sure we get guys that fall into that sustainable window that I can, be here for a couple of years. But when you look at Naylor and you look at Suarez, their contracts are up this year. So
same with Ferguson too.
Right. And you went in a different direction, and then look what it got you, right? I mean, look where you are now. So I think that's where the approach changed, and I think when you look at where they're at and they go, okay, well, we've had the same approach for a while. Maybe we can start acting a little bit more, I like to call it greedy. Like, go out there and get something. Go out there and sacrifice a little bit of your future to hopefully win now. And I think that's what the fans want. And I know everyone in Seattle is happy to see that those moves were made, because it made an immediate impact on the team. And it's great to see.
Just in getting back to the comparison to 22 to now, Cal Raleigh, who was part of that team, obviously, in 22, was asked if this team's better equipped than that one to have a long postseason run.
Yeah, I mean, I think I look around and, we had a pretty talented team that year, and we had some good players. Obviously, where we're at now, we have some guys who have had a few more years under their belt as far as experience and whether it's on the pitching side. Because, I look back and we were relatively pretty young, in that 22 years. So looking back now, you got some guys who have a little more under their belt, and guys who have had some innings and big time games and moments, and I think that's the main difference. I wouldn't say maybe talent wise or whatever. I think obviously our lineup's pretty deep and the rotation's somewhat similar, but I think these guys are ready to go and very happy with the way things ended. So
I feel like they were a talented team in 22, but offensively speaking, this is night and day, right? You had youth. You didn't have near the production. You had holes in that lineup. It was not a good offense. I mean, if we're just being honest, it just wasn't a good offense. And you're hard-pressed to find a category where they were middling offensively in terms of where they ranked. One more on that from DePoto breaks down how this team's different from the 2022 squad.
Our pitching in 22, the last time we were there, was pretty damn good. I think our bullpen is maybe more seasoned to deal with what we were dealing with. In 2022, I felt like our bullpen really ran out of gas toward the tail end. And one of the fortunate aspects of this last week or so has been that we've been able to kind of take it a little bit easier on some of those leverage guys and give others some opportunities. And it's also that a number of different guys periodically through the course of the season pitched in bigger moments, you know. So there's been a little bit more of a shared load, but you still have Mooney and Brash and Gabe, and now I think, you know, Zardo in that group that delivers the game to the end. 5 starters who right now are clicking and geared up to give you your 6, maybe more innings on a night in, night out basis, and a lineup that does a lot of different things.
What do you think? You agree?
Yeah, I mean, from the lineup side of things, for sure, right? I mean, this is a better lineup without a doubt. And, you know, he mentioned the pitching side of things, and I remember talking about this with you earlier in the year, both of you, is like at some point, guys in the bullpen are going to have to step up and pitch in places where they don't typically pitch. And I think a perfect candidate is Bizzardo this year, who kind of was just the middle relief guy and probably not pitching in a bunch of leverage situations. But, you know, I think you hand over the ball to him or Vargas, and that's where I think he is alluding, like, the load's a little different this year, and being able to share that load only makes guys better and only gets guys more experience. So then when they're in the playoffs, these situations don't feel, you know, overwhelming or you know, happening too fast, because sometimes that's what happens. You're out there and you just feel like the game speeds up on you, and how do you slow it down? So it's nice to have those situations early in the year so that, you know, when push comes to shove and you got to make a pitch late in the game or, you know, in the playoffs even, that you're equipped for it. So, yeah, I think, you know, in a lot of ways, yeah, it's just a different team, I think. You know, similar, but the big thing that sticks out is all the experience now these guys have. I mean, the experience is like your biggest teacher. You can learn so much from failure, from successes, and now to be in the position they're in, I know for a fact that they are, you know, ready and willing and very capable of getting it done. And then, you know, if it does kind of go awry in a game, I think that they have the tools, the mental capability to make adjustments and get back on track and you know, continue to show what I believe this team has is like the ultimate clutch gene right now.
Hey, MLB.com did an article for each team, each playoff team, who can be like an X factor, and they chose Eugenio Suarez. So he's got 49 home runs. I think 13 of them are, you know, with the Mariners. You agree with that? Is that the guy, or would you pick somebody else? And it could be a pitcher or bullpen guy.
It's a good question. You know, I think it's easy.
Well, of course it is. I only ask good questions.
Exactly.
Charlie.
Yeah, I knew
that's
that.
what everybody says.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like my gut right now says it's Julio. Like that's what my gut says, and I think that like if Julio is on the way that we know he can play, I think that's the biggest X factor. I think Gino, the argument is like, all right, well, if you can hit some more home runs and kind of do the Gino streaky player that you are at the right time, then yeah. But I mean, I think you can make that same argument for other guys in the lineup. You can make that argument for a Polanco, for a Crawford, right? You know, for a Naylor. Like I think the argument kind of goes in a lot of different ways, but it continues to show how strong this lineup can be when they're playing well. So, but yeah, I almost, as much as I want to like say Cal because he's done so much, I think that when this offense is really rolling and Julio is playing like the player we know he is, that's like the best version of the lineup, right? Like when Julio is on all cylinders, I mean, he's clearly, if he doesn't win the Gold Glove this year, it's a joke for how great of center field he's played.
Right.
You know, so like removing that side of things, I think it's that offensive difference when he's going 2 for 3, 3 for 4, stealing a couple bags, just being a nuisance at the plate and on the base pass is the X factor to me. I think Geno is a good pick, but he's kind of I don't know, is he a one-sided baseball player? Is he just like kind of a power swing and miss type guy, right? I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, that's what playoff games are probably going to be won on the long ball, so it's easy to say that's the X factor, but we'll see kind of how these games unfold if the Mariners stick to their ways and say, hey, we're just going to hit homers and steal bags and beat you that way. So it'll be interesting to see who they play and then how the game unfolds.
Well, and it's kind of cool, sorry, Bob, that, you've got guys that are chalk, right? Like you could pick Julio, you could pick Cal, you could say, maybe Munoz. I mean, there's a lot to choose from, and that's the thing that I think is really cool about this question.
I mean, I think it's like I think it should be asking like a two-part question, like who's, who do you think is the X factor, and then who's like the underrated X factor, right? Because I think that's where you get into the other parts of the roster where you're like, oh, okay, well, could Gabe Spire be that X factor, knowing that he's going to go in and face all the lefties in every lineup throughout the whole plaugh because he's the best left-handed reliever. I might be biased when I say that, guys, just so you know.
Lefty reliever.
But kudos, he's done a tremendous job this year. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a great question to ask, and that's what's gonna be so fun to watch is like, who's gonna be the guy that we didn't expect to have a big game or carry the torch and get the job done late in the game. So hopefully it's just a couple 6 spots in the first and second inning, and the Mariners just cruise to victory.
That
but
would be delightful.
They played too many one-run games for me to believe that.
Brian Kinney and Mike Lowell from MLB Network were talking about the Mariners, and they were, in their opinion, talking about how key it was that the Mariners have gotten such consistency in terms of games played from Cal and Julio and Arozarena.
They are the top 3 with Rodriguez, Arozarena, and Raleigh. 3 guys at 700, Mike Lowell, and then the shortstop at 650. So that's catcher, shortstop, center fielder.
I tell you, one of the abilities that people don't, and I think is underrated in the game, is durability, dependability, whatever way you want to call it. It's a la, for me, the 2021 Braves, where they mentioned that whole infield of Riley, Swanson, Albies, and Freddie Freeman at the time. What a relief for Snitker back then to know, okay, this is what I'm penciling in. And how about for the Mariners? A third, where you're put. Well, I'm saying 4/9 of it because I'm adding J.P. Crawford in there as well. That's every day.
Right.
That's a good feeling to know. There's a cohesion here of these 4 guys.
Right.
I got to imagine that is big for a manager to be able to go, okay, my premium positions up the middle, my shortstop, my catcher, my center fielder, right? Arguably the most important positions on the field. I know who that's going to be every day, every game. Yeah, you might think, and certainly the same is true with the Arozarena in left field and right field. You've had platoons out there with Robles and Canzone, but that is a huge advantage.
No question marks. Did he say 4/9? Did I hear that? What did he, Lowell? What did I feel like?
Yeah, 4 out of the 9.
Oh, it sounded like 4/9. I was like, baseball player math. No, it's true though, right? I mean, when as a manager and as the whole baseball operations department, when the questions you have to answer, aren't those, it makes your job a lot easier because, when you can pencil in those guys and say, all right, well, now we can just figure out, let's call it matchups numbers wise, the rest of the lineup, and good chance that we can pencil in 2 or 3 of those guys, and the questions are actually only for 2 of the guys in the lineup, right? So, it really does add, some relief from decision making and not having to, play that, A versus B. Is it left versus right? Is it, what's the history of this? Like, so I think there's a lot of data they can take into to try to make those decisions, but the fact that they don't have to make those at the premium positions that he mentioned is huge.
Well, and there's really only 2 spots that are up for grabs, so to speak. Right field and second base, right? Depending on if Polanco is you're going to be your DH that night, we're going to put, I don't know, we'll put Rivas at second, or we're going to put whoever at second, and then right field, is it going to be Robles? Maybe it's going to be Canzone. Everything else is set. Gino's going to be playing third. Naylor's going to be playing first. Arozarena is your left fielder in all the positions we just talked about. So he really only has 2 spots that he needs to concern himself with.
And then, the question mark around Brian Wu, right? I mean, other than that, it's like that's the point, is that the questions are pretty straightforward and simple. It's not really complicated, right? So, you sit back and go, well, these are my horses that got us here. they're going to be my horses to get us there in the end. So, we're just relying on a couple other guys to step up and execute.
What about this? What about what we saw today? We've been talking about, which of these two teams would you rather face, the Guardians or the Tigers? And we've been asking everybody that, and everybody's had a different answer. I said the Tigers, and it's not really based on any hard, concrete evidence other than a feeling. They're 4-2 against both teams. So you got the same record. They've beaten Skubal twice. Doesn't mean they're going to – I mean, he went out there today and dominated. 14 strikeouts, 7 2/3. He was ridiculous today. There's something about the Guardians that they just feel like that kind of pesky, scrappy team that's a problem. Not that the Tigers couldn't beat you. They certainly could. But we bring up Quan, we bring up Ramirez as these guys are just nuisances. They just always seem to come up with the big moment for that team. So I just have more apprehension about Cleveland than I do the Tigers, who on paper are a better team. But Mariners have done well against them. They went on that absolute free fall to end the season. I don't know if there's any carryover. They won today, so maybe I'm wrong. But which team would you be more comfortable with?
It's kind of a toss-up, I think I'm, trying to think of it in a different way of the team. I'm almost thinking of it like, all right, well, would you rather play in Detroit or Cleveland,
Yeah. Like, Cleveland, I think, has more lefties in the lineup.
Yeah. Well, just from even a ballpark standpoint, like, I played in Detroit, came up in Detroit, so I fully know how loud and intense that can get. I think the big kicker that I think you would swing that I want to face the Guardians for me is that overall their lineup is not as good. They don't hit as well, and they don't have Skubal at the top of the rotation. So that's where I go. I think I'd rather face Cleveland, but I think the other side of it is like, all right, well, do I want to face Stephen Vogt, who knows all these guys that was with the Mariners last year? Does he have intel or things or tendencies that he picked up on that he can relay to the team that gives them an advantage? Maybe, maybe not. But something to think about. Another thing that I think maybe you'd want to face Detroit is like, Detroit's a big ballpark. It's going to get cold. It's outside. It's just a better place to pitch. So maybe they would be better off from a pitching standpoint to be playing there. Now, we're not talking that much different because Cleveland's not that far away, but it is a smaller ballpark overall from dimension standpoint. So, yeah, it's fascinating. I think I'd rather face Cleveland right now. Like, if, when push comes to shove, just especially seeing after Skubal's 14K performance, it's like, ooh. When a guy like that is on, you don't want to face that. He can carve you up. And then, when you get carved up by an ace, you just would hate that it would take into the next game. Like, oh, man, this guy put me in a position where my timing is off, and now I felt like I went 0 for 4, I got beat. How do I make sure that I flush that so whoever I'm facing today, that doesn't carry over? So maybe there's a carryover there. I don't know. I mean, it's all speculative here, but I think I'd rather face Cleveland.
Yeah. Hey, Bob brought this up earlier, just something to think about because I know we got to go to break, but you brought up Arozarena and his experience in the playoffs. 33 games, 128 plate appearances, and he's batting .336 in the playoffs with over 1,100 OPS. I mean, some guys just step up at the right time, right? Like he's got the clutch gene.
Big time.
It seems like. You believe in that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the clutch gene is a thing for sure. I think the difference is, Randy leading off versus Randy in the 3 or 4 hole like he was in Tampa, right? I mean, I think that's where he was, maybe the 2 hole, but, in a position to do a little bit more damage where now if he's leading off, it just presents a little bit of a different challenge. But, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, again, this lineup has not only a depth to it, but a ton of experience. And you mentioned a guy like Randy, who we all saw how good Arozarena can be in the playoffs. And I think if there's even a glimpse of that, the Mariners are happy, right? I mean, you may not get that 300-400 average and all these home runs and whatnot, but there's a good chance that this guy, of all guys on your lineup, is going to be real comfortable come Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, outside of Josh Naylor, who do the Mariners absolutely need to bring back? We'll get into that conversation coming up next with Wyman and Bob. We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us for the hour right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take Game 1 of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss! yes! Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For Game 1 of the Division Series, Saturday.
It's down, going to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, the weather's changing, and I know a lot of you will still be riding your bikes out there in the rain and the cold. I'm a fair weather motorcycle rider, so I won't be doing that as often. But some of you have certainly texted in about your rides and the bikes you have, and some of you have talked about the injuries you've sustained in motorcycle crashes. Obviously, when it gets wet and colder out there, that increases your chances. And if you're somebody that's been in a motorcycle crash, you're talking to law firms, do yourself a favor. Don't settle for a firm that tells you they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who actually live it. That's Law Tigers. They've been a part of the writing community for nearly a quarter century nationwide. When you're involved in an accident, you're calling attorneys, you're calling law firms, trying to get direction, help. You need somebody on that other end to actually answer the phone and be there for you. That's Law Tigers. They're there 24/7, 365 days a year because riders deserve real support when they need it most. Now, you see Law Tigers everywhere. They're out at all of the events supporting all the clubs and shops. You see the vans, the tents, the whole thing. They are there by your side. The Law Tigers are part of that writing community. On top of that, your case evaluation is always free. There are no fees until your case settles. They don't get paid until you get paid. On top of that, they're going to help you get your gear and your bike repaired or replaced because they know how much those things mean to you. So you never ride alone with the Law Tigers. Washington's motorcycle lawyers, Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Are your investment dollars working as hard as they should be? You've spent years building your future. Don't let outdated advice put it at risk. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. We're a veteran-owned firm proud to bring a new standard of financial care to the Seattle area. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries, ethically bound to put your interests first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. As a privately held company, we answer to you, our valued clients, not shareholders. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a customized plan. From Bellevue to Tacoma, get advice you can count on. It's time to take a fresh look at your financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-466-3300. That's 206-466-3300. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Imagine homes so well-designed and so luxurious, they'll be setting the standard for decades. You're imagining a Mainview home. Now imagine a Mainview home on sale, saving $50,000 to $120,000.
Isn't that what Brett and Amy bought?
Yeah, it's a Mainview, and they saved a bundle.
What are you doing?
Looking at the Mainview website. It's now or never.
What's better than a Mainview home? A Mainview home on sale. Mainview communities across the Puget Sound.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning?
RV wins!
Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast?
RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up. Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. Touchdown! Seahawks! Ken Walker III! Get everything Seahawks at seattlesports.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Hey man, gaining weight, low energy, lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Washington helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations.
When men start treatment, it's not just their labs that change. You see it in their posture, their energy, and how they walk into the room. That's why I do what I do.
Call 206-529-1111 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 206-529-1111. Or schedule anytime at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net. Get end-of-season savings of 30% off an air conditioner or heat pump while supplies last at Day and Night.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Save 30% off an air conditioner or heat pump, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Call for details. dayandnight.net.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us for the hour, talking Mariner baseball. By the way, the 253, Charlie said, the combined no-hitter was my first date with the mother of my oldest daughter. Thanks for my kid, Charlie.
Let's go. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
They're giving you credit for their offspring. How about that?
That's something sexy, right? You said you don't have very many things that are...
This is true. I did say that.
Sexy.
That I don't have many things that appear sexy. So, yeah, there you go. There. Thank you. There's,
outside of that
there's
and
one.
riding a mechanical bull in a bar somewhere.
Yeah, no one's ever done that. Yes.
We were talking about this earlier, and last night I was looking at this going, everybody loves Josh Naylor. Every fan, every person out that's seen him in a Mariner uniform is, bring this guy back. You got to bring him back. The Mariners want him back. Justin Hollander told us as much when we had him on the other day. So that's a no-brainer. We'll see if hopefully they get that done. But what about Gino? What about Gino? If we're calling it today, I would feel like most people would go, nah, I think we're good. He's the clubhouse loves him. You love the vibe. The players love him. It hasn't been a smashing success to this point, his return. He's pretty limited defensively other than he's got a cannon arm. But I could see that changing. We were talking about, well, if he goes nuts in the postseason, just goes on this tear, and he's the postseason hero, then the same fan base that said, nah, I'm good, we'll be going. You have to bring that guy back. But where are you at with Gino?
So, yeah, I think his presence inside that clubhouse is humongous, and the fact that he is a successful veteran major league hitter, really adds to the weight of why you'd want to bring him back. I think we've talked about this in the past. Is like, all right, well, who's the adult in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, somebody's got to corral these 21-year-old kids that know exactly what they're doing with their lives, right? Yeah. And I think that's where he fits the bill in so many ways as a great guy to bring back. And it's not a long-term contract. I mean, he's obviously going to try and get as many more guaranteed years as he can coming off this huge season. But I guess the question is Ben Williamson going to be as good or better in the interim, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think because that's, unless you're going to go out and sign someone else, that seems like the next internal option. And yeah, I mean, believe me, Ben Williamson's defense is outstanding, like some of the best in the league. But the difference in, the player between him and Gino from the plate standpoint, it's like this really I take Gino every time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you you got to value that at some level because, you know, if you're going to just rely on Ben Williamson to be the guy again, I just don't know if that experience he had is suddenly going to turn into a different profile hitter, right? I think that's where when you're at third base, you almost have the luxury of being a little swing and miss because you're driving the ball so much.
Right.
And I think that unless you're an everyday, always on base, high average guy and you're not driving in runs, but you're doing all the other things that you can kind of be like, okay, this is still valuable to us and, you know, is going to help us, you know, as a team. But I think that's the difference is like, it just I mean, it's not like he's going to cost a ton of money, right? I think that's the other thing you look at. It's like Gino's not the most expensive free agent by any means. So what he
wouldn't be cheap though for a guy who's close to 50 home runs. It's not going to be.
Yeah, but think about the value you get. That's right. I think that's the thing. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna pay a few extra million to get this guy in our team for what he provides. Now the questions that you always ask is like, all right, well, can he repeat it? Is he still healthy? Right? Are there any ailments that are gonna creep in at an older age? So, but I think that's where it's like it's hard to deny what he's done this year at this level, and then what he's continued to do when he came over here to the Mariners after he got traded, because he's helped this team, I think, in more than offensively speaking, as a unit, as inside that clubhouse. It's like, doesn't that have any weight, right? Like, I think that for me, like, should be considered when you are looking at the roster next year. And I would, the Mariners will have conversations with him. And it's just a matter of alignment and whether one, he wants to come back, or two, there's a better deal on the table, and hey, maybe I want to go to a place and that I can hit homers again, that is more hitter friendly. Not necessarily, obviously we saw Cal hit all these home runs this year, and it's crazy where, we were talking, oh, this is the worst place to hit. And then we go ahead and see a 60 homer season. Like, okay, that's kind of crazy.
And then Josh Naylor comes here and calls it a hitter's park.
Right. So I think that's where, and then the relationships, the bonds, the familiarity, there's a lot of things that are more certain as a player. So I can see from his side of things that, I would want to come back because I don't have to get to know the new coach, the new staff, where's the training room, where do I live, is my family comfortable, like all these other external factors that go into the decision you make of where you want to play. I think Gino has a very comfortable feeling here, and the fans love him, right? I think there's alignment there. I think it's just a matter of, it's a price point thing at this point. So I would be in favor of bringing him back because, from what he did in his first stint, not just from on field, but inside that clubhouse, and now what he's done in the second stint, it seems like a no. And even if you lowball him, that's fine, and it doesn't work out. But I think he deserves at least a contract offer from the Mariners. Whether that works out or not, whether he thinks that's even market value, that's another story. But I don't know. Did you feel any differently? I mean, I just feel like he's clearly made an impact, and I know Naylor may be the more pressing guy you'd want to lock up, but if you can just take care of those corners, and then you got your main guys locked up on the team, and then it goes back to what we were saying earlier. You don't have any question marks, right?
Well, Naylor, if I have to choose between the two, it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer, yeah.
You lock up Naylor because you also don't have a first base option coming up through your system. You traded Locklear to the Diamondbacks. You have a third baseman in Williamson who does everything better in the field defensively other than throw. He's got a decent arm.
Yeah.
I'd say his arm's average, whereas Gino's got an above-average arm. But range-wise, Ben's got him beat. But it's the production. And can he close that gap a little bit? He's a young guy, so maybe he develops more power. He does more damage. I don't know. They know that better than anything. So,
I think that you and we've probably all been wondering, or I was wondering at least, like, oh, man, for all and this is a pitcher standpoint, like a bias standpoint, like all the defensive plays that Williamson made this year were incredible, and it put him up into defensive run save leaderboard in a short amount of time. Does he have any regression? Like, did he just run into a couple good bounces on the diving plays that he made, right? Because sometimes those plays don't fall in your glove.
Right.
So, is that an anomaly? Did the Mariners we know you're good at defense. We didn't expect this crazy performance. Is there any regression next year? I don't know. I still think he's probably going to show up to spring training 10, 15 pounds heavier and be like, I hit the ball harder now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he's realized that that's probably his quick way to kind of make an impression and say, oh no, I can still play at this level and still have the power numbers. But yeah, I just think when you're constructing a team and you have guys that have experience and guys that have postseason experience and understand the way you need to act and perform on a day-to-day basis, that's where I think Williamson has none of that. That's where it goes to Geno. Like, okay, you provide way more than we realize than a stat sheet would say.
Well, tell us, who was a guy like that for you? Because I think a lot of fans don't care about whether he's a good clubhouse guy, and like the value of that. And just anybody that you remember that was.
There's a handful of guys that come up. One of the guys that I'll give credit to are now division foe, who is the general manager of the Texas Rangers, Chris Young.
Chris Young, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he, as a 6'10", he was one of the tallest pitchers that's ever pitched.
Soft tosser,
though. But, I mean, talk about a presence, obviously physically, but anytime he spoke, I felt it just, and he's like a Princeton grad, so he like had all this like political speaking background, so like had so much weight, but from a guy that
he used fancy words.
Yeah, well, and he another thing I had even more respect. It was the first time anyone in my life has ever had bunions on his feet. He had like not good looking feet, and I was like, how are you pitched like this? He's like, oh, I probably have to get surgery, but he's like, if I get surgery, then I'm out for a while. Like, it's a major surgery, and I think it was on both of his feet. So, he was like, oh, I can't get it, so I have to manage it right now so I can pitch. And I was just, impressed by that. But then his clubhouse speeches and the times that he stepped up and said anything on the bus, it just felt like, no, this isn't on the stats, right? This isn't anything that you're going to get. But, I think he's one of the guys I look back, I go, yeah, this guy has some urgency right now and created urgency inside that clubhouse. And I'm like, again, there's no stat for that, so it just goes so far.
All right, well, we'll talk about bunions in the break. I never had a bunion. Don't know what a bunion is.
I don't know what it looks like.
Something on your feet.
I'm sure you could do a Google image.
You're not going to like the way it looks.
Probably not going to be a good look.
No, never.
Meanwhile, what does this bullpen look like heading into Saturday, and is there any reason to be concerned about it? We'll get Charlie's thoughts on that and everything else coming up with the Mariners. It's Wyman and Bob right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710.
It's been 24 years since
the 2001 Western Division champions.
Mariners Nation, you've earned this banner.
There's no better feeling than this. We work so hard each day.
With a first-round bye in the bag, what's ahead for the AL West champion Mariners in the postseason?
It's a lot of great things ahead. I can feel it.
SeattleSports.com has the latest on the scenarios.
We're not done yet. We got a World Series to go get.
This is where you hear your AL West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
Well, you guys have heard Dave and I talking about our aches and pains we've accumulated over the years, and some of you have checked in with some of the injuries you've sustained and talking about surgery. Now, if you're somebody that's considering surgery for maybe joint replacement, anything like that, put a pause on it. It's Bob Stelton here. Before you make that choice, I recommend you go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Now, I went to him because I had heard the testimonials and Dave talking about him, and I was looking at surgery for a hip issue that had been bugging me for years after years of sparring and just hard work on the body in jiu-jitsu. I was ready. It was a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. So I went to go see him as a last resort. Went through the 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner, and I couldn't be happier. Surgery is no longer part of the conversation. If you're somebody like that, again, check into Dr. Wagner, who's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. So if you're somebody with severe osteoarthritis, even bone-on-bone, you get back to doing what you enjoy doing and doing it without pain and, more importantly, without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, a knee, a shoulder, an elbow, ankle, whatever it is, before choosing surgery, do what I did. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Just go to drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
This college football moment is brought to you by Serve Pro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. Like on September 24, 2016, when Tulsa found themselves down 31-0 to Fresno State. With 10 minutes left in the second quarter, Tulsa fought back to tie the game at 41. And then won 48-41 in double overtime.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
What if you had the smartest Wi-Fi? If you did, it'd be Xfinity, of course, and it'd come with their best state-of-the-art equipment. It would boost speeds to the devices that needed them most, prioritizing your most important connections, whether you were streaming, gaming, or gaming while pretending to work. And it would let you stream 4. That's right, 4 games on one screen. It would even power your mobile connection so you could bring faster, secure Wi-Fi speeds with you where you use it most. It would be proactive and fix problems before you knew you had them. Impressive, right? And it would have security features that protect you from threats at home and online. Kinda like a force field for your life. If you had the smartest Wi-Fi, well, everything would work together seamlessly to keep you connected, no matter what. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now, so you don't miss an episode.
The home of your American League West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
With football season comes colder weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here with Keith Dashafee from locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. So Keith, what's your next big play?
Well, Steve, right now get 40% off qualifying installs or no payments and no interest for 12 months on approved credit.
Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got Charlie Furbush in studio with us until the top of the hour, at which point we'll talk to El Hombre Michael Bradley. You guys can text in at 866-979-3776. How do you feel about the bullpen going into the postseason? Any concern? You got so many guys in there that had career years in terms of appearances, innings pitched. They got used a lot. And this is a welcome break, I'm certain, for a lot of those guys. But anybody you're like, I'm a little shaky on this guy, or a little nervous when this guy gets into the game, or you feel pretty confident in everybody in there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel pretty confident in virtually everyone. I think for the opportunities that will ideally arise here on Saturday and Sunday, it's a pretty stout group. And now you mentioned that break. I think this is the break it's gonna give everyone like a breath of fresh air, a new sense of life that you'll come out. Obviously, there's going to be adrenaline kicking in here, but I think everyone's going to, step up, and you'll see the best of, what everyone has to offer.
Plus, you'll have Bryce Miller in there, presumably.
Yeah, and another X factor is, where does he fall? And I just, for whatever reason, I don't see him pitching. Definitely, I don't see him pitching in the 8th or 9th inning. Maybe the 7th at best, but I think there's other guys that are more deserving. So he seems like the guy that, if a starter throws a lot of innings and can't get out of the 5th, he's going to come in. Like that seems like a guy that could come in and get the job done and bridge the gap to maybe the 7th, where it's. Would you put him ahead of Hancock in that role? Yeah, I think I would. Yeah, Hancock really impressed me the other night. He really threw a sweeper more than he's ever thrown, and he got a ton of swing and miss out of it. So yeah, there's like that's a tough one, right? It's like, okay, do you give the ball to Hancock, who has actually already made this transition? He's went to AAA, he pitched out of the bullpen, got called back up, pitched out of the bullpen. Obviously, he started in that spot start most recently, but has had the experience. And if you've listened to him talk, he talks about how that's a challenge, the transition of dealing with the uncertainty, not knowing when you're going to pitch. What's my routine like? How many pitches do I need to get ready? So I think he's kind of answered a lot of those questions from the experience he's had, which gives him a little bit of a leg up, I think, because if Bryce just gets thrown into that mix, it's, hey, you're going to figure it out on the fly just like we are, and we're just going to hope that once you're ready, you're going to come out firing and get it done. And the reason I think I pick him over Hancock is because, I know generally speaking, he's going to strike out more people, right? I think he's more of a guy that is, I can make a hitter look foolish than Hancock has shown me. Although, he did great recently, I still think Miller is better suited to his stuff play up once he gets to the bullpen.
Hey, what about the scrimmage thing tomorrow? What are you expecting? We're going down there, and we're going to be at the ballpark, and I guess they're letting people in for $10. They got all the concessions open, and it sounds like they're going to try to structure a game, basically. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing to keep the guys fresh, and just because you are, especially during the season, right? Unless you're in the All-Star game, when you're in the All-Star game, you don't have a break, but at no point do you have a break more than 2 or 3 days. So sometimes that first game back from the All-Star break, you're just getting things going again, and the last thing Mariners need right now is to come out looking slow or dead. Yeah. So this is the biggest reason is like, all right, let's just get some environment, some feelings, get the crowd pumping. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, if they even try to inversely do it where it's like, hey, we're pitching, like act like it's a road game so that we're familiar with that too, right? Because, whenever they go, the other team's going to be yelling at them. So it's just a great way to simulate it and feel like that they are preparing themselves in the best way. And it's even cooler from everyone here. Like a fan aspect gets to go see like a modified spring training-ish type game, but with all the hype and energy, and it's going to be great. So
plus the fans can feel like they're helping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You're helping prepare this team for what they're about to face.
Which is something totally. That's a great way of putting it. And I think that's where the reason why they're doing it, right? Is like this is only going to help the team, because we know it's like playing in an empty stadium is. It's dead, right? So it's like even if you have a sim game or a scrimmage, it's still not the same. The walkout music doesn't hit the same as having the crowd noise, and then if there's any sort of banter back and forth, it's just great for everyone. It's great for everyone involved, and the fans are going to love it. The players are going to love it, and you may look back and say, wow, that was I think that was a really important thing they did to get them set up for that first series win.
Yeah. Maybe that'll bolster the case for Dan Wilson.
Well, I think it bolsters the case to win the division, so you got a break. You know what I mean? I think that's the whole thing. Is like this is a great position to be in. I think everyone's like, "Oh, is the break? Is it going to ruin their momentum?" I'm like, no, not at all. Especially how much how great this team plays at home, and a big reason is because how awesome the fans have been. They've been great as long as I've known them. But when collectively they all show out like they have this past month, it's just an electric environment and a humongous difference maker when away teams come in.
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know what to expect tomorrow in the way of the crowd. I mean, it's $10 to get in, which is pretty cool.
Are you guys going to be yelling? I know Wyman's, he throws a few, out from right field. I wonder what you're going to say tomorrow. Are you going to yell?
I'm going to be calling the game, basically.
Yeah. We'll be up in the booth.
Like he threw the splitter there.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
All right. Dave's going to be talking about spin, tunneling the ball, all that.
Right.
Arm slots.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
That's his forte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you doing the show from the stadium?
From the booth.
Oh,
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going as fans to enjoy this.
No. Well, we'll be fans too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully it's nice and rowdy in there.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I hadn't heard of this until they brought it up with the Mariners, and they talked about Kevin Seitzer referring back to when the Braves did it, I think in 21 or 22. I can't remember when they did, but they did it. I had never heard of a team doing that, had you?
Not this way, seemingly, and then opening it up to fans and, food and drink, and it's cool. It's super cool.
You know what I haven't heard in a long time? The word rowdy. How about that? Charlie threw in rowdy.
You
haven't heard that? Rowdy fans. That was like from the 80s, man. You're not that old.
I mean, I was born in the 80s, man.
Those were his formative years, man.
Only 4 of them in the 80s, but, we're doing okay.
All right.
Charlie, we appreciate you, man. We'll talk again next week.
Can't wait. Go Mariners.
Charlie. There you go. There's Charlie Furbush in with us each and every week, spending an hour talking baseball. Coming up, we're going to dive into the MLB playoff predictions and a whole bunch more with El Hombre. Michael Bradley, he's going to join us next year with Wyman and Bob on your home for the AL West champions, the Seattle Mariners. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Get inside the huddle.
The handoff inside. He's going to go. Touchdown, Seahawks.
Taking you inside the VMAC every week. Thursdays, noon to 2.
Our guys show up to play.
Player interviews.
It's obviously been paying off. Just going to continue to do that.
Previewing this week's matchup.
We'll say they come out and just run the ball down the Niners' throats.
And everything Seahawks.
If anybody had a doubt, don't.
The Huddle. Every Thursday at noon. Exclusively on the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Let's go! You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When the weather changes, your home shouldn't be the one left unprepared. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. We offer the strongest solutions in roofing, siding, decking, windows, and gutters, made for the Pacific Northwest. And right now, get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months or up to $3,000 off your next project. No gimmicks, no stress, just reliability you can count on. Visit stateroofing.com or call 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule your free estimate today.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
Comcast Business can help turn your small business into a connected, secure, modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How healthcare offices become the data-protecting caregivers that we all depend on. And how wealth management firms become cyber-securing guardians of your information. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and Wi-Fi backup, your business can stay connected and get threat-ready with Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Now through November 16th, new Comcast Business customers can get started with 150 megabit internet plus security for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and autopay with bank account. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Hey, Brock Heward here for my friends at PCF Construction. You know, it was a couple years ago. We were seeking a complete outdoor living space. Molly wanted a new deck. She wanted to really make our outdoor space pop. And boy, am I glad we called PCF. Why? Because whether it's a very specific project or outdoor living, like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you completely covered. You know, Molly's an interior designer. She knows construction. She knows attention to detail. And PCF, they checked every single box along the way. And right now is the time to make the call. Up to $6,000 off your project, plus no payments and no interest until 2027. And you can save an extra $1,500 when you bundle your deck with a patio cover. Find all the offer details, get project ideas, and browse photos at pcfgroup.com or simply call today at 425-629-8476. That's 425-629-8476, PCFgroup.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Major League Baseball playoffs are underway, and pitchers' duels are the order of the day so far. You got 2 games in the books. Tigers took out the Guardians in Cleveland in Game 1 of that series, 2-1 the score in that one. Tarek Skubal putting on a show, 7 2/3, 14 strikeouts on the afternoon to get the Tigers the win in Game 1. Cubs take care of the Padres 3-1 in that game. You got one game going on right now. The Red Sox on the road taking on the Yankees in New York. It's in the top of the 7th right now in the Bronx. Yankees holding on to a 1-0 lead. So pitching is definitely in the spotlight this afternoon. We'll see what goes on with the final game of the evening. That'll be the Dodgers playing host to the Cincinnati Reds. That one getting underway in about an hour.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
Yeah, you know what you can get me, Pee-wee?
What?
El Hombre.
That was a catastrophe.
I know.
That's a new low. Roz is better.
El Hombre.
The natural meets Rudy meets. I don't even know how to describe it. El Hombre.
It is that time, everybody. We look forward to it each and every week, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. This man joins us for a conversation on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. He's the one, the only El Hombre. Michael Bradley is with us. How are you, man?
Hey.
Little fat Albert there. Like that. Like that.
Absolutely.
Michael, we've got a potential problem with us and you, because we often talk about Vegas, and Vegas just always seems to be right. When they're putting out lines and picking winners, all that stuff. And I don't know if you've seen this, but the most popular or the odds-on favorite matchup for the World Series is the Phillies versus the Mariners. And that I don't know how do we coexist if that goes on. It just
let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Okay, so a lot of baseball to be played. We're not even done the first day of the playoffs, and you're already telling me who's playing in the series.
That's right. Vegas told me.
You've got that book that they had in Back to the Future 2 with all the future, sports results. Let's take it one game at a time. Shall we, fellas?
Yes, we shall. It's just
we're a little fired up out here.
Yeah, we're not used to being mentioned in any postseason
spoiled.
scenario, so this is all new for us, Michael. But what's the feeling in Philadelphia is the favorite, by the way, as far as Vegas sees it. But is the attitude out there World Series or bust? Anything short of a World Series appearance is going to be considered a failure? Or how is it viewed out there?
It's pretty close. And let me tell you how crazy people are here. Tomorrow, the Phillies are playing an inter-squad game.
Yeah, so are the Mariners.
They got to get some action. Yeah. Well, they've sold 29,500 tickets for it.
What's the place hold?
42.
Yeah.
So, right, the Red Sox just took a 2-1 lead over the Yankees, which is delicious.
That's nice.
In the Bronx. That shows you how crazed the people are here about this team. I'm going on Monday night to Game 2 of the NLDS. Can't go Game 1. Got to go to a family wedding, but you can be sure that I'll be watching the darn game on my phone the whole time. So it is definitely a sense of the big things are ahead now. You can very easily lose that first round, NL or ALDS game. You run into a hot team, or you run into a couple of good pitchers. I mean, it's likely that the Phillies are going to be playing the Dodgers. I can't see the Reds beating them, even though the Reds are kind of built for a 3-game series because they've got some good starting pitchers. But if they don't make the World Series this year, there's going to be a lot of call for some big changes, and the Phillies have some guys that they can and need to get rid of if that doesn't work.
Who's sort of the X factor, do you think, there in Philly? Because for the Mariners, it's Eugenio Suarez, and what does he have, 40-some bombs now? 49. But, and he's kind of streaky, but who is a guy that's sneaky good that you think can come up big for the Phillies?
Well, I mean, obviously it's got to be Schwarber and Harper leading the parade, but the guy that I would, if you're watching the Phillies play, really pay attention to in the playoffs is Harrison Bader, whom they got from the Twins in the trade deadline deal. He's been leading off and playing center field and has just been great. And with Trey Turner returning, he'll probably go back into the leadoff spot, which means they'll push Bader down to the 5th or 6th spot, which is a good place for him because there's not a lot of pressure on him. He'll come up with some guys on in front of him at times, so he's a guy to watch. He's had some experience in the playoffs. He's had some success, and I think he's a guy. And then, of course, pitching, they've got, Christopher Sanchez. Nobody knows who he is outside of Philadelphia. All he's going to do is finish second of Skeens in the Cy Young balloting. He had 2.50 ERA and led the major leagues other than Aaron Judge in WAR. He had an 8.0 WAR this year, wins above replacement, which is outrageous. So he's going to be good, but what's the starting pitching going to do behind him without Zach Wheeler? And Aaron Nola, who's been up and down, mostly down this year, won't get a start probably until the NLCS if the Phillies get that far.
I was looking at the stat earlier, and it struck me that how hitting has changed and expectations and placed on hitters at the plate these days in the way of batting average. And I know it's been devalued by Sabermetrics is completely devalued batting average, but there are 7 players in all of Major League Baseball hitting 300 or better. There's only one in the National League, and that's Trey Turner hitting 304. What is that? I mean, how odd is that to you that you got one player in all of the National League and 7 in total that hit 300 or better?
For someone like me who grew up watching guys like Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn, who struck out 7 times in their entire careers,
right?
And then watching these guys all trying to hit home runs, I'm hoping they're watching today's baseball. Here we are in the top of the 7th in the Bronx, and we've got a total of 10 runs in 24 1/3 innings played in these games. The pitching is looking good. The scouting reports on the hitters are outstanding. So you better go up there saying, I want to get on base, not I want to hit a home run. A single with a guy on first base that puts men on first and third is a pretty good thing. striking out is a pretty bad thing. So, be up there to hit, change your approach a little, because now is the time when the pitchers really start to take over.
Hey, Michael, it looks like Shohei Ohtani is pretty much the favorite as far as NL MVP. Kyle Schwarber in there, but do you have a feel for the AL MVP as far as Judge versus Cal Raleigh?
Unfortunately, I do, and I think it's going to be Judge. I mean, look, the stuff that Raleigh did this year is amazing, and to devalue it at all is disgraceful as a baseball fan.
Yeah.
But Judge has had an historic season when you think about it. He leads the majors in WAR. He leads the American League in runs. He leads in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, runs and had 53 homers and 114 RBIs. He is. It's amazing what he has done, and I hate to say it, but I think he's going to get it.
And that, what would you chalk that up to? There's the extreme numbers for Judge offensively, or the complete ignoring of what a catcher brings to the table and what Cal Raleigh has done in the way of, he's producing numbers that have never been produced for a catcher offensively, but that's not even his priority. It's to manage a rotation that was beleaguered with injuries all year, getting these guys through a game, getting these relievers through a game, and being one of the elite catchers, defensively speaking, in the game.
Unfortunately, when people look at the MVP, they don't look at things like managing a staff, being a great defensive catcher. They're going to look at the numbers. And if somehow Judge didn't lead in all of those categories, led in half of them, then Raleigh would have a chance. There's also going to be a significant bias. Most of the major league teams are east of the Mississippi. As I said throughout the season, I didn't see Raleigh play until I saw him live in Philadelphia when the Phillies swept the Mariners in that series. So you're going to have a lot of writers who haven't seen him. And they may say, okay, most home runs by a switch hitter ever, most home runs by a catcher ever. The team with the second best record in all of – is it the best or second best in the AL?
Say that again?
Do the Mariners have the best or the second best record in the AL?
Second best. They're the 2 seed.
Yeah, right. So you're on the second best team, you win your division, et cetera. They're not going to look at the other stuff. They're going to look purely at the numbers, and they're going to see what Judge has done and say, and I mean, even Jason Stark, who writes for The Athletic, whom I know and whom I respect a lot, because few people look at the game as closely and as through so many different lenses, the wonder of the game, the humor of the game, and then just the unbelievable performances of the game, said that it should be Judge simply because this is an historic year.
Sorry to hear that. I shouldn't ask that question, Bob, but I'm not trying to deflate everybody's hopes, but I'm going to tell you something. Please believe me. If the Mariners win the ALDS or the Mariners make it to the World Series, you won't care if Cal Raleigh wins the most valuable player or is named one of people's most beautiful people in the United States. It's about the team winning the games, for crying out loud. Yeah. Hey, you mentioned Jason Stark. Who are some of the? I see Sal Powell. We saw him in Pittsburgh, I think. But who are some of the media guys out there that you admire?
Well, I mean, I don't admire anybody who covers the NFL because they are absolute spokespeople and propaganda artists for the league. It is. I'm dead serious. None of them. Sal Powell told me as much. He said, I can't report half the stuff I know about the league because he's afraid that ESPN will lose its contract. And now that ESPN owns half of the NFL, or the NFL owns 10% of the ESPN, or whatever it is, it's going to become an even bigger shill. And by the way, the tush-push, the brotherly shove, whatever you want to call it, is on its way out. And you can tell by the fact that Adam Schefter is starting to say, oh, it's tough to officiate, things like that. They're trying to grease the skids for this to make it something that when it happens, somebody will say, oh, it happened. So Tyler Kepner does great work for The Athletic, also for baseball. The best writer right now out there, period, who covers sports, He's a feature writer. Is a guy by the name of Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T Thompson, who writes for ESPN. He is remarkable. If you ever get a chance to read anything by him, you stop what you're doing and you devote a half hour, 45 minutes, because it's going to take a while to reading it.
Hey, speaking of the tush push, they had a nice little variation off of that. I loved that, man. I mean, it was very creative, and that thing could not have been more wide open. There was like 3 guys over there that were ready to block someone, and they didn't even need to.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're going to see next year. If I were the Eagles and the brotherly shove gets eradicated from the league, and you're not allowed to push anybody anymore, first play of 2026, I would line up in the very formation that they're, for the play that they've outlawed, and then run a deep pass off of it or something, just to thumb your nose at the rest of the league. Yeah. So that's what I would do. I think it's on its way out, but no, I love that play. That is so much fun to see that kind of stuff. I love it when the quarterback, on 4th and goal from the 1, fakes the handoff to the back, draws everybody in, and then saunters into the end zone untouched because the ends crash down so hard, thinking that it's going to be a run up the middle by a back. So that kind of stuff's fun.
Hey, speaking of players that should just worry about the wins, you were talking about Cal Raleigh, and hey, win those series when that's all that matters. What's going on with A.J. Brown out there? All of a sudden, he's popping up. He just is perpetuating the entire stereotype of diva wide receiver, an undefeated team, defending Super Bowl champ. They have yet to lose, yet he's unhappy with his targets, which I get. You want to be a part of it, but you won. And he just seems like the epitome of that stereotype, that diva wide receiver.
And it's funny, for a while there, all the main receivers were these divas, and then it calmed down. We lost the lunatics like Ocho Cinco and Randy Moss and some of these other guys who would rather preen around the field than play. And now we're seeing it again here in Philadelphia, and he's sending out cryptic tweets and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, if I'm Howie Roseman, the general manager, I said, we'll be happy to trade you, but we're going to trade you to Tennessee, or we're going to trade you to the Jets, or we're going to trade you somewhere where you're going to find out what it's like, where you might catch 90 passes, but you're going to lose every week. And you'll see how little those stats matter when you're losing all the time.
Yeah, where does I remember last year there was some talk about how Jalen Hurts, and I think that A.J. Brown was part of that complaining that he was being too careful and he wasn't, I don't know, I think he was insinuating that he didn't trust A.J. Brown enough or something. But as far as his character and how does he handle things like that, it seems like typically pretty well.
Who Hurts? Yeah, Hurts handles it very well. Let me tell you something. Everybody trusts A.J. Brown. He's got hands that are the size of catcher's mitts, and they're strong as hell. If you put it near him, he's going to catch it. So there's no question that Hurts trusts him. Here's the thing that you can't say anywhere because people get mad at you, but Hurts is not a great game-to-game passer. He's not somebody who's going to put it up 35 times a game. It's not his game. It wasn't his game in college. It's the reason he was a second-round draft pick. He's a good passer, and he had a great Super Bowl. And when the lights are brightest, he's been performing. He can hurt you with his legs, but the Eagles want to still try to be a running team, and right now they're having problems with that because teams are saying, we're going to stuff the box, and we're going to make you beat us with the pass, and that's not how they can do it every week. Now, last week, this first half was great offensively. The second half stunk. The week before, the first half stunk. The second half was great. This week, they'll put it all together, or both halves will stink. Who knows? But I point to their 4-0. Are there questions? Yes. But every team has potential problems, right? The Bills struggled. Who they beat on Sunday? Somebody who certainly wasn't very good. The Saints.
The Saints,
it was close for a while with the Saints at home. What are you going to say? Oh, the Bills stink. No, you're going to say, oh, the Bills are 4-0. Okay? Cowboys are 1-2-1. The Washington NFL franchise is 2-2. The Gigantes are 1-3. The Eagles are 4-0. I'd be very happy with that if I were a player on that team.
No kidding.
Hey, we were talking about watching the Jets play last night. They're 0-4. They're dreadful, and they've been dreadful. And they've been dreadful despite having talent on the roster, undeniable talented players. Whether they've got enough of them, that's a fair question. But they've had talent as far as coaches and players. and yet they just continue to stink. Is that more about ownership somehow infiltrating the message, being a part of the message in a negative way, being too involved? Why is it you think teams like the Jets are just bad year after year after year, despite obvious talent on the roster when you look at it and good coaches along the way, yet it doesn't translate?
And Dave knows this a lot better than I do, but you can have a guy who's talented, but the question is he a winner? They haven't had a great quarterback. I mean, that's where you start, right? Granted, the Ravens right now stink because their defense is so bad, but if you don't have a great quarterback, it's going to be hard to be good. And I don't care what your numbers are, and I don't care what your measurables are, and what it says about you in the scouting report individually. Are you a winner? Do you make winning plays? Do you have a lot of players on the team who make winning plays? For instance, the Eagles don't beat the Rams if they don't block 2 field goals. The Eagles don't beat the Buccaneers if they don't block a punt. How good is your coaching staff? The special teams coach for the Eagles won the last 2 games because he found a weakness on the punt last week and he found a weakness on the field goal 2 weeks ago. I mean, so you got to have it all put together. And you got to have players who make the plays when they have to, not just in the second quarter.
But do you put anything on the fact that some players leave that organization, find success elsewhere, whether it's somebody like Geno Smith, whether it's somebody like Sam Darnold, whether, anybody you can look at that was a part of what was going on there, Leonard Williams, and they go on to other situations and they thrive?
Well, Woody Johnson, the owner, is not exactly thought of as one of the best owners in the league. He is a bit of a knucklehead. Don't forget, he was the guy, didn't he let his son or his grandson make a personnel decision or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Based on its fantasy portfolio or something. So, when you got an owner doing that stuff, and look, when the Eagles were floundering before they went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs and lost between 2016 and 20, Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, was sticking his nose in the personnel business a little too much. Since then, he's kind of taken a step away from that. You got to let the football guys make the football decisions. And Joe Douglas, the GM they had there for a while, knew what he was doing. He came right out of the Eagles tree and was highly regarded. And he did some good drafting, and he brought in some good players. But if you don't have the right coaches, and if you don't have the owner who's backing it up and supporting it, who knows what their training facilities are like? Who knows what the overall culture is? I thought Aaron Glenn would be able to turn things around pretty quickly. I think that guy knows his stuff, and he's tough as hell. But the team's still doing dumb things.
Yeah, I mean, it has to come from the top. We were talking about the guy down in Carolina. Oh, my gosh. Tepper is ridiculous. And, and I feel like he's maybe the best example of, an owner trying to stick his nose.
Or Jerry Jones.
Into,
false face. False face is Exhibit A.
By the way, did you love the tie? And then also, I think they might have showed Jerry Jones more than they show Taylor Swift.
Oh, much more.
It seemed like it.
Oh yeah. Well, don't forget the reason that Jerry Jones gets shown so much and gets so much attention from the media is he's the most powerful owner, and the broadcast partners of the NFL understand that and realize they had better put him on because he wants to be on, and if they don't, they may not get the next contract. And I'm not joking even a little bit about that. Yeah. He controls that league. Forget about the Invisible Man or anybody else. It's Jerry Jones's league.
Yeah, he does get a lot of TV time. There's no debate about that. But I didn't hear any of the complaints that I heard about Taylor Swift for some reason. I don't know. That became problematic for some people. It was always an interesting complaint because
I'd rather look at Taylor Swift than Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones or some shirtless guy in the stands chugging beer. I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about here? But anyway, Michael, as always, great stuff. We appreciate you, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
So long, suckers.
There he goes, everybody. Michael Bradley. You find him here every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. You can also find him on Twitter at Daily Hombre. At Daily Hombre on Twitter, or X, I guess is what it's called now. But yeah, every time I see Jerry Jones on the screen, I think of him. Yeah. Just false face. False face.
Oh, he had to have loved the tie there.
I'm sure he would have preferred a loss for the Cowboys, but yeah.
Something about a tie that just like the whole thing was for naught.
40 points each.
Gosh.
Not a lot of defense. Not a game for you, Dave.
No,
but
I like the 6-3 games.
Ugh. You liked the Browns Seahawks game when Charlie Whitehurst was playing quarterback. Wasn't that 6-3?
Was that 2012?
Yeah,
that was about
11
the
or
time.
12. It was
I think that
awful.
was the first game that Richard Sherman started.
Was that 6-3 or 9-3? It was a dreadful game. That wasn't great defense. That was just lousy offense.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
It was bad.
So bad. All right, coming up, the player most important to the Mariners' playoff run might not be their best player. We'll explain. That is coming up next with Wyman and Bob right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take Game 1 of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss. Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For Game 1 of the division series, Saturday.
It's down, going to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit BayAlarm.com today.
At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we perform an 18-point maintenance check with every oil change to help make sure you're good to go.
And?
Yeah, you're good to go.
Huh. Wonder why the dealership isn't that easy.
Well, we'd let you know if we found something in our check.
Oh, great. That was easy.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Quick, thorough, and honest. Come with no charge.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here. You can book now for an unforgettable experience. Let's talk about Hawks Peak. It is the place to be for game days this football season. With over 66 TVs, indoor-outdoor concept, the deck is covered and it's heated as well. And the food, oh man, it was excellent. All with breathtaking views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. Yep, you can go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Too many breakup songs getting you down? Put a little bossa nova in the playlist. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway near SeaTac. Get a good-to-go pass to save $2 every time you use it, and on other toll roads in Washington.
This is the home of the Seahawks. Gonna let one fly deep. Got a man out there. Ball is caught down at the 10-yard line, and it's JSN Seattle Sports.
Imagine homes so well designed and so luxurious, they'll be setting the standard for decades. You're imagining a main view home. Now imagine a main view home on sale, saving $50,000 to $120,000.
Isn't that what Brett and Amy bought?
Yeah, it's a main view, and they saved a bundle.
What are you doing?
Looking at the main view website. It's now or never.
What's better than a main view home? A main view home on sale. Main view communities across the Puget Sound.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Washington gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. The spouse says, "Thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before." That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 206-529-1111 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 206-529-1111 or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now, so you don't miss an episode.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to El Hombre, Michael Bradley, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys are just tuning in, missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, I just retweeted a video, a disappointing video, Dave. I was showing you just a quick glimpse of it. Our old buddy, our old pal, our old compadre, Dave Sims, now the voice of the New York Yankees, posted a video where he made his MVP pick, and he's going with Judge.
Surprising.
Going with Judge.
Very surprising.
Come on, Dave.
Well, I have to say, we were having a discussion during the break that El Hombre made probably the best case that I've heard for Judge. So, but of course Dave's doing that. You know, him and Rabes are good friends.
Yeah.
And
still like Dave, but he's making it hard.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's expected. By the
Yeah,
way,
I guess. If you want to see what he said, I retweeted it out there.
You did?
If you're on Twitter.
Why would you do that?
Because I responded. I said, "Come on, Dave." And so yeah, you can see what Dave had to say at Bob Stelton on Twitter. But
by the way, I was wrong on the 2012 thing. It was 2011 when we lost 6-3 to Cleveland.
Pig of a game.
Yeah, and no, I thought it was good, but I think that was when Sherm came in and replaced, I believe it was Walter Thurman, and then he started the rest of the way. So just off by a year, but
it was Charlie Whitehurst at the helm, who went 12 of 30 on the day for 97 passing yards, no touchdowns, and 1 pick.
Yeah.
Dreadful, going up against Colt McCoy. Just ugh.
Charlie Whitehurst. Whew.
What a gross game that was.
Yes.
What a gross game. We've been talking a lot about this series coming up with the Mariners, whether it's versus the Guardians versus the Tigers. We'll see. But you've been asking people about the X factor. We asked Ryan Rowland Smith about that, and here was his answer.
I'm going to go Polanco, man. I'll tell you why, because you are going to face really good pitching in the playoffs, especially if you're talking round 1 and then round 2 and so on. He's a guy that has really good, especially the last couple of months, he's been really good in 2-strike counts and really good against plus pitching. Like, if you look at his numbers, the contact rate and the lack of swing and miss in two-strike counts in the last 4 to 6 weeks, man, it is off the charts. He's one of the best in the game. Plus, he's got that gap and home run threat. Polanco, to me, is going to play a huge role.
Yeah, I'm with him on that one. If we're going X factor, meaning not your obvious Cal, Julio, Randy, even Gino's and obvious in there, Naylor. Yeah, to me, it's Polanco, and I'd tell you a close second for me would be Canzone.
Yeah.
Canzone has been really good since he's come back up from AAA, and I don't love him in the outfield, but what he's done at the plate is been pretty solid and hitting over 300 since he's been back. So he's a guy, we'll see how often he's out there. Robles is going to be your starting right fielder, but how often, maybe they'll have Polanco at second and Canzone will be your DH perhaps. We'll see what the pitching matchups are, but he's shown the ability to come up with some very big hits down the stretch here.
Well, and Polanco was a guy that, at the beginning of the season, we were like, I don't even want him playing at second base, just DH him because of, all the injuries and everything. This guy hit 13 doubles in September.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you go back to the last 6 games of August, 3 of the 6 games he hit home runs. So, he has just come up huge, batting .329 in the month of September, over 1,000 OPS. He's been huge. But, you look at that, then you look at, of course, like the chalk answer is that Julio is going to be the X factor or Cal Raleigh. But to me, kind of the spirit of that question is somebody that you don't necessarily expect. And Jorge Polanco definitely falls in that category, but I'd also throw Randy Arozarena in there. I mean, you talk about the 32 playoff games and he's batting over 300.
Playoff Randy. Yeah. That's been his history. But I kind of put him in that group with Julio. He's not equal to Julio and Cal. But he's kind
chalk.
He's kind of that guy that you expect. He for me carries a certain level of expectation. It's because of the stats we threw out there the other day, and you've got him here. He's been a playoff stud in his career. So I'm hoping you get that version of him again because he kind of scuffled down the stretch here too. So he and Gino are 2 guys you need to step up and be who they can be, specifically Gino, because Randy started to find it a bit and he's got that track record. But yeah, when you say X factor, I'm looking at the guy you don't count on as much, or you don't
Same.
expect as much. They don't carry the same level of expectation.
Yeah.
And for me, that would be Polanco to a lesser extent, and then Canzone is much more of an X factor because he's not an everyday guy. He's not going to be out. We'll see how much he's there, but he's not your obvious starter every day. He's always in the lineup no matter what guy.
Yeah. Well, and you brought this up at the beginning of the show of Randy Arozarena, and again, I'm just blown away by his playoff performance. 33 games, 126, I think, plate appearances, 128.
Mm-hmm.
375 batting average, 500 slug. It's his slug is 690, and then 1,100 OPS, and he's got 17 RBIs again in 33 games. 3 stolen bases, 11 home runs. I mean, it's fantastic. So, yeah, I mean, I like that there's lots of options there. I like the Canzone one, too. That guy never shrinks away from a big moment.
Yeah.
And,
and he carries no real expectation.
Right.
I don't think.
Yeah, it's not like, if he doesn't perform, that's the offense we had last year, right?
Yeah.
You had to have, the best upside from more than half, probably, everybody but 1 or 2 players, in order to win.
Yeah. And having said all of this, your big guys need to come through. Julio and Cal need to come through.
Yeah.
Their regular seasons were great, specifically Cal, obviously historic. Julio, his second 30-30 season ends up being a very good season when the first half felt really not so good. But those are your guys. Those are the faces of the franchise. Those are the core of your franchise. Those are the guys that you got to have them come through. Certainly everybody, they can't do it alone, but man, you need them to be. Julio's got to be Julio. Cal's got to be Cal. And hopefully everybody else can kick in. Naylor, I'm excited to see him because this will be, I think, his 4th trip to the postseason. So he's got experience. He knows what this is. Whereas the Mariners, they don't have it. They've got it in 22, and not all of these guys were here in 22, obviously. So this is a fairly new experience for them.
Yeah. Speaking of new experiences, we get a chance tomorrow. That's going to be fun tomorrow. Unfortunately, on Thursday, which there is another one. I'm going to be down at the VMAC, or not unfortunate. We'll get I think we're going to get a Seahawks player, right? But yeah, I'm doing the huddle down there. But tomorrow, what do you think it's going to look like? I mean, is it going to be like a regular game? I mean, the feel for
as
it.
Much, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what they're trying to create.
Yeah,
and
I'm more curious about, because I think it'll be a regular game, inter-squad, obviously, but I'm just curious about the fans, what that's going to be. I mean, you heard Michael Bradley there. The Phillies are doing the same thing. I had never heard of this leading into the postseason. I just had never heard of teams doing it. Maybe it's been going on this whole time, but they're doing a scrimmage, inter-squad, whatever you want to call it, and they've sold almost 30,000 tickets.
Wow.
30,000 people to go watch the Phillies have an inter-squad game out there, and I would imagine by the time the game starts, they'll sell more tickets. I don't know if they're $10 there as well or what they're doing, but yeah, I'll be very interested to see what kind of crowd shows up there for the Mariners. It's going to be fun to be out there and just watch it and see how much excitement and again, I think and this is not to be cheesy about it, this is kind of an opportunity for fans to help the team, help them get prepared for what they're going to face this weekend with the way of noise and everything else that they're going to be dealing with. So yeah, it's should be a fun day out there. So yeah, $10, you can go out there and watch the team prepare for the divisional round of playoffs that start on Saturday. It's going to be very cool.
Time again?
2 o'clock tomorrow. 2 o'clock tomorrow, and then I think 5 on Wednesday, right, Lefko? Is it
5 on Thursday? Yeah.
Thursday, excuse me. Yeah. So 2 tomorrow, 5 on Thursday. Would you tell Furbush to stop distracting everybody back there?
Is he still here?
We're
Does he
just
have a
rambling on
home?
about all sorts of things. He's going to stay for a live what we learned, I guess.
Does he have a home? What's going on?
I think he's been getting calls about that.
Okay.
Why don't you just come in here in the studio, Charlie?
Yeah. Jeez.
Why do you want to talk to Lefko? Did he just flip me off?
He might have. No, he's
doing the horns.
All right, coming up, we learned that one of us on the show today has a superpower that we never previously knew about. That's coming your way next with Wyman and Bob, right here on your home for the AL West champion Seattle Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710.
The Tigers take Game 1 of the best-of-3 wildcard series over the Guardians.
Swing and a miss. Skubal fired up coming off the mound.
One win closer to a trip to Seattle.
Everybody on their feet.
For Game 1 of the division series, Saturday.
It's down, going to the wall. Everybody's running.
The home of your AL West champion Mariners, Seattle Sports. Hear every game live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, that motorcycle weather is slowly going away, but I get out there as often as I can. And I know a lot of you ride year-round, whether it's raining, cold, what have you. And some of you have talked about that, talked about your bikes, talked about the trips you've been on, and some have talked about injuries you've sustained in motorcycle crashes. And if you're one of those that has been injured in a motorcycle crash and you're talking to law firms, do yourself a favor and do not settle for a firm that tells you that they're motorcycle lawyers. Trust the ones who actually live it. That's Law Tigers. They've been a part of this writing community for nearly a quarter-century nationwide. And when you're in need after an accident, you're looking for guidance, you're looking for help, you need somebody to actually pick up the phone on the other end, that's Law Tigers. They're available 24/7, 365 days a year because riders deserve real support when they need it most. Now, you see Law Tigers out at all of the events, supporting all of the clubs and shops. You see the vans, you see the tents. They're everywhere. They're ingrained in this community. Law Tigers are always by your side. And your case evaluation, by the way, is completely free. There are no fees until your case settles, so they don't get paid until you get paid. You never ride alone with the Law Tigers. Washington's motorcycle lawyers. Jimmy Cook, 539 Broadway, Unit 104, Tacoma, Washington, 98402.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Open enrollment for Medicare is coming up. Are you ready? Herb Weisbaum, the consumer man here. Get organized early with a Medicare Jumpstart Toolkit from the Insurance Commissioner's Sheba program. Order your free copy today at insurance.wa.gov.
The ballpark is rocking like 2001. Let us clear up your allergies so you can enjoy more of each game. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Let us fix your ear, nose, and throat problems. Let's make your congestion, sinusitis, snoring, and allergies a non-issue. We can diagnose and treat everything from allergy testing and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty. Come and see us in Federal Way in Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Tired of uneven heating, noisy systems, and high energy bills? The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings with every system, and every system qualifies for max tax credits. Call the Comfort People at homecomfortalliance.com.
With football season comes colder weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here with Keith Dashafee from locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. So Keith, what's your next big play?
Well, Steve, right now get 40% off qualifying installs or no payments and no interest for 12 months on approved credit.
Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
This is where you hear your AL West champion Mariners in the playoffs. Seattle Sports.
Luxury has arrived at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. It's Mike Salk here. You can book now for an unforgettable experience. Let's talk about Hawks Peak. It is the place to be for game days this football season. With over 66 TVs, indoor-outdoor concept, the deck is covered, and it's heated as well. And the food, oh man, it was excellent. All with breathtaking views of the Cascades and the Snoqualmie Valley. Yep, you can go to snocasino.com. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow Stolen Voices of Dole Valley now, so you don't miss an episode.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7. Bump and Stacy.
The Seahawks are 3-1.
This is a house of learned doctors.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What did we learn today?
No one's a bigger idiot than me.
Stupidity is the easiest way out.
It's too much commotion back there. I think Matt's getting distracted with all the...
Yeah, Charlie Furbush, he won't leave.
We learned Charlie won't leave.
Yeah. There he is. He's
trying to talk into a mic that's not on.
Yeah. Doing a little
now I'm going to leave.
Extra credit.
I just like watching it from here.
Yeah? You're screwing Matt up. You're messing him up.
There's too much happening. Can we just
play
a clip
lot
already?
Of activity. A lot of activity.
What did we learn today, Lefko?
All right, if Charlie's still going to be here, I'll play this one then. We learned that Charlie has a previously unknown superpower.
The 253, Charlie said, the combined no-hitter was my first date with the mother of my oldest daughter. Thanks for my kid, Charlie.
Let's go.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
They're giving you credit for their offspring. How about that?
That's something sexy, right? You said you don't have very many things that are.
This is true. I did say that.
Sexy.
That I don't have many things that appear sexy. So, yeah, there you go. There. Thank you. There's
outside of that
there's
and
one.
riding a mechanical bull in a bar somewhere.
Yeah, no one's ever done that.
You know what's not sexy are oddly shaped elbows and bunions.
Oh, God.
That's what we had. That's what we had conversations about.
Visuals
with Charlie.
brought to you by Charlie Furbush.
Yeah. Man, when he did that thing with his elbow, like, ugh, I was like, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gross.
He keeps trying to talk into Lefko's mic that is not on.
The problem is, if I turn the mic on, then he's not able to hear you because there's no headsets. So I have to keep the mic off so he can hear you. And then,
well, I think
we're not meant to have an audience back here.
I think the lesson from that text was that if Charlie gave up a hit in that combined no hitter and blew it, that kid would never be born.
No, that's right.
That's really what it came down to.
Yeah. Or just be a really bad kid.
Yeah, it'd be a bad seed.
Yeah.
Bad seed. What else did we learn, Lefko?
Oh, man, okay. Well, we did learn in that conversation you guys had with Cliff Avril, we kind of learned that even though they're really good friends now, the Cliff Avril, Michael Bennett friendship did not get off to a great start.
He says something to me, something crazy like, hey, man, you need to rush like this. And he's telling me what I need to do. And I looked at him, and mind you, now we're up by like 25 points or something crazy like that during the game. And I'm looking at him like, bro, I have way more sex than you. Like, stop talking to me. You know, now I'm spazzing out. You know what I mean? And to the point where they have to separate us, like literally walk me down to the offensive side of the sideline or whatever. And now I'm mad. I'm the type of person, if I'm mad, like, we don't have anything else to talk about the rest of the game. At the end of the game, we both get on the bus. Mike is always the last person to get on the bus. And finally, he decides to get on. And again, I'm mad. So I'm thinking, like, okay, you know, we might square up. Like, we might actually have to brawl right here, right now. You know what I mean? If he says the wrong thing to me, he sits behind me. Now I'm like, oh, my gosh, he's sitting behind me. He has an angle on me. Like, I'm still mad. I don't know who he is. Like, he has an angle on me. And he taps me on my shoulder and whispers in my ear. And he's like, hey, now I got to go tell my wife she can't be friends with your wife because you and I can't get along. What kind of foolishness is that? And that was like the icebreaker. From that point on, we've been the best of friends.
And then he went on to say, and had he not done that, I would just not talk to him. I'm the type to hold a grudge. Yeah. he would have just gone the whole year without talking to him.
Yeah. I think the funniest part of that might be, it's all funny, but the part where he's like, dude, I have way more socks than you.
Yeah, who are you telling how to rush the passer? What are you doing? So good. That sounds like a Mike B statement, doesn't it? Now I got to tell my wife she can't be friends with your wife. What kind of foolishness is that?
He is so hilarious. Just the tone of his voice, and you know, I get a chance. He works pregame or preseason on the sidelines and everything, and some of the questions that he asks are funny, and just him and Cliff, you can tell, have their own little communication and, you know, sense of humor. It's very, very cool.
What else did we learn, Lefko?
We learned Charlie finally left. And then he said on the way out he'd do the elbow thing on air or something. I don't know. On
Did
camera.
he show it to you?
No.
Oh.
I said, please not at this time.
Yeah.
We'll wait to show everyone.
It's like somebody who's double jointed. It moves in a way it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
It's not right. Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
Says the man who has other body parts that move strangely. With your finger, right? And what do you have with the finger that curls back?
Well, no, this one doesn't curl.
Oh, okay.
Then I have trigger finger on this one, so if I squeeze, it like gets stuck and I have to peel it off. So
It's no good, man.
It was worth it.
Huh.
It was all worth it.
All right, well, speaking of teammates that are best friends, but kind of hated each other early on, we learned about the origin story of Dave Wyman and Paul Moyer.
He was giving Kurt Warner a hard time because he didn't go out for boil out, which is you run 10 hundreds. And he's like, you're a leader and the guys need you. And then whenever Kurt would get angry or whatever, his voice would go super high.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm sitting next to him and Moyer's kind of letting him have it. And he looks over at me, why monster? Well, is he a coach? And I'm like, yeah, I don't see a coach over there. I see a teammate there. I don't know why he's saying that to you. And then he got mad at me and ran out of the room screaming, you know, obscenities. And then it was funny though, because I was like, yeah, I don't see a coach there. C-Dub, I'm with you on this one. And he all of a sudden Moyer looks at me and just starts cracking up. So One thing I should clean up about that story, Moyer doesn't swear.
I was just going to ask you, did he? I know he doesn't now. Did he used to swear and now he doesn't?
I don't think he ever did.
Huh.
Yeah. So
he's like Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, so he was mumbling and grumbling something. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, it was him, and who was the other one that doesn't swear? Was it Gogan?
No, that was Steve Wisniewski.
Wisniewski.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rivers, Wisniewski, and now Moyer.
Yeah. Well, I know that he would definitely want to clean that part up. So,
any other learning that we did here?
No, that was it. That was some good learning from all sides there, though.
Well, we learned a lot about Charlie today.
Learned a ton about Charlie.
More than anybody needs to know.
Too
really.
much.
I mean, I think that's clear. We're going to be broadcasting live from T-Mobile Park tomorrow from the booth, and the scrimmage will be going on. Hope to see a lot of fans out there and get a taste of what this is like preparing for postseason baseball. So fans can join in the fun for just $10. Concessions are open, the whole thing. So if you
really excited for this.
Yeah, it should be pretty cool. So we'll be out there tomorrow doing the show. Today, I want to thank our guests, Cliff Avril, Charlie Furbush, who finally left, and El Hombre, Michael Bradley. For everybody else who might have missed that stuff, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab, scroll down to our picture, click on that. It'll be right there waiting for you. You got the Dodgers and Reds coming your way next. Playoff baseball happening. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here with Wyman and Bob.
Bump and Stacy.
The Seahawks are 3-1.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
This defense looks amazing. I know that they did not continue that streak of holding opponents to 17 or fewer, but they held them to 20. And importantly, essentially the Cardinals had 1-2 solid drives the entire game, like objectively good drives. The rest of it, they were completely shut down.
Only on Seattle Sports on 710. Seattle Sports on YouTube and the Seattle Sports app.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com. Too many breakup songs getting you down? Put a little bossa nova in the playlist. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway near SeaTac. Get a good-to-go pass to save $2 every time you use it, and on other toll roads in Washington.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
When the heat's in 11.
Cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net. Get end-of-season savings of 30% off an air conditioner or heat pump while supplies last at Day and Night.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Save 30% off an air conditioner or heat pump, plus no payments or interest for a year OAC. Call for details.
Dayandnight.net.
Imagine homes so well designed and so luxurious, they'll be setting the standard for decades. You're imagining a main view home. Now imagine a main view home on sale, saving $50,000 to $120,000.
Isn't that what Brett and Amy bought?
Yeah, it's a main view, and they saved a bundle.
What are you doing?
Looking at the main view website. It's now or never.
What's better than a main view home? A main view home on sale. Main view communities across the Puget Sound.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Wild Card Series on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Jim Basketball back on baseball tonight. We are presented by Granger. First pitch for the Reds and Dodgers moments away. Hunter Green against Blake Snell. Green, 481 road ERA this year. Snell, $1.17 at the home earned run average. Takes us to today's poll question. Don't forget to log on to MLB on ESPN Radio on Twitter to vote in the AutoZone. In the Zone poll question, I should say on X, right? In the Zone is brought to you by AutoZone.